Okay, now. Are you ready?
Join on the corner where the big boys play.
Oh, what's going on, everybody? How are we doing today? Christian, how are you?
Doing
I hear audio. Did you hear that?
I did hear a little bit of audio, but where's that? Is that from me or is that from you? Let's see.
no.
Well,
I think it's coming from you.
I'll figure it out. Okay.
I think we're good now. I think we're good. Maybe. Nope, I still hear us. I think you might have us playing in another browser somewhere.
Let me
Is
double
that
check
possible?
that. I might actually.
Okay, I muted Christian, so I muted you. So it's definitely coming from your side. I think you must have us open in another window somewhere, maybe. So I muted you. Okay, you ready?
Let's do
You got
this.
it?
Yes.
You got it ready now? Okay. This is what happens when you are like multitasking before, you have 80,000 browser windows open, and it just happens sometimes. But yeah, so hello, Christian. Good morning to you. Hello, everybody. This is a big show. This is probably one of the bigger ones we've done on our Ask StreamYard show because we are going to be talking about a lot of the latest and greatest features that StreamYard has released. And so I definitely was not even going to try to do this one by myself. So I was like, Christian, I got to phone a friend. You are coming on and you are going to do this one with me. So my friend, thank you for being here with me today. We are definitely going to take this one on together. So how are you today?
Doing pretty good, actually. This is a really good show, by the way. I am so excited about all these features that we're going to be talking about. I mean, there's so much to tackle. So I want to just kick things off and let's start covering each of these things because
I know we are. We got to say hello to our friends though. We've got all kinds of people watching from all over the place. So I definitely want to say hello to all of you watching today. Feel free to be engaged in the comments. We certainly love when you guys are here with us. We are multi-streaming to Facebook. We are on LinkedIn today. We are also on YouTube, and we are also streaming live to Twitter. So now we are going to be covering a lot of StreamYard's latest features and some updates for you all. Definitely feel free to ask questions. Christian and I are going to do our best to find those questions and answer those as we go through this. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about some of these latest features, make sure everybody's aware of them, because some of these updates, when these releases happen, Dan and Gage will maybe sometimes announce them on our Sunday night town hall. That's the best place for you to always stay up to speed on some of the latest updates happening with StreamYard. Julie Riley does a really great job also in our Facebook community. That's another place where you can learn about new features. But we were all kind of talking, and we just wanted to make sure that we took some time to showcase a lot of the latest stuff, because I think a lot of people still maybe don't even know that some of these new things are around, or maybe you've heard about it. Today's a great opportunity for you to ask a question. So Christian and I are going to do our best to go through some of these. We have a lot to cover today.
Oh, yes, we do.
I mean, whoa. So yes, go ahead.
I just want to say, so if people have questions, by the way, you see we have a banner running. Put a Q in front of your question. This is going to help us. And also try to keep them on topic. So for example, if we're talking about StreamYard Teams, let's try to stick to the questions specific to that at that time, because then this way it helps us keep everything on topic. Because we know you all are going to have a lot of questions.
Yeah,
so,
we do. And we are also going to be doing our best to showcase what we want to make sure you understand. We also want to make sure that we are able to keep moving. So we're going to do our best. And honestly, Christian, I think that we have other opportunities coming up where if everybody just has a ton of questions about one of these features, then guess what? We're just going to have to do an isolated show all about that feature where we can do an awesome Q&A. That's what we love about Ask StreamYard. So normally what we do is we take a question and we take a deep dive. So I have a feeling we might be taking a deep dive on some of these new features here in the upcoming episodes. So, all right, you ready to get this thing rocking and rolling?
Let's do it. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm going to adjust my mic. Dale's telling me my mic is weak.
Oh, we can't have a weak mic.
Let's see if that works, Dale. Just let us know.
Hopefully it's better. Yeah, maybe it's because I'm just so loud. So, all right. So, Christian, the first thing up today is that we have some updates when it comes to LinkedIn and Twitter. So, talk to us about what's new in LinkedIn.
Okay, so let's see. So LinkedIn, a couple of things they've changed. So one of the big things is LinkedIn has now changed it to where you can schedule further than 7 days in advance. So this is something you have to keep in mind. Each social media platform is a little bit different, but LinkedIn, they want you to schedule them ahead of time so that you can start to drive people to your live streams. So you can schedule those in advance. In addition to that, let's see. So a couple other updates on LinkedIn. They've got it where now, like, so for example, you had to, if you want to create a LinkedIn event, previously you would create a LinkedIn live stream and a separate LinkedIn event. Now they've actually combined it. So when you create a LinkedIn event, when you schedule LinkedIn Live from StreamYard, it's going to also then create that LinkedIn Live event over on LinkedIn. LinkedIn's going to do that for you. So they're helping you. Now there is a little wrinkle to all of that. And it's the fact that now if you need to edit, you need to make some changes to your broadcast, you do have to go over to LinkedIn and actually, for example, in some cases, you actually delete the broadcast and redo that if you need to make some of those changes. So the key thing is make sure you test everything beforehand.
With that, I actually recently, because of this change, so again, it used to be that when you scheduled a broadcast with StreamYard, it would create a LinkedIn event, which is kind of can be multifaceted. Now it is creating what they're calling a live stream event, which is slightly different. I know I did this the other day, and I was able to go in and actually mark someone as a speaker, and like it was actually really, really cool. I loved it. Now I also noticed that I was able to edit the event right in LinkedIn. So I've definitely had that happen before, where maybe I had a typo in the title or I needed to maybe make an adjustment. I do think now, Christian, instead of having to delete the broadcast and then redo it, I think you can just go right into LinkedIn and make some edits, including changing that thumbnail. Right. So that definitely opens that up as well, because it was kind of a pain before. If you needed to make a change, you had to literally remove that scheduled event and then add it back in. So yeah, definitely some good stuff there.
And one other
go ahead.
thing I want to add real quick. So if you are using LinkedIn, and let's say you do have to change the thumbnail, a lot of times what will happen is it will get cached.
Yes.
And so LinkedIn has a tool. It's the LinkedIn Post Inspector. And what you can do is if you made a change to something and you're like, hey, it's not reflecting, you can run your post directly into the Post Inspector on LinkedIn, and they will actually basically rescrape it and pull the updated information from it. So I'll put a link to that actually here.
Okay.
I want to bookmark this.
Yeah, for sure. Good. Okay. Talk to us about Twitter. We've got some changes a little bit, just some things that not super new, but we want to make sure everybody understands. In fact, we do have a question from Fantasy Football Hustler. I cannot stream to Twitter. Will this be changed soon? So let's talk about this. Let's talk about what's the latest with Twitter.
So a couple of Twitter updates. Basically, Twitter, you can now, you're not going to be able to use Periscope anymore. Periscope's basically going away. So you'll see when you go to add a destination inside your StreamYard studio, you'll see a Twitter option. Now it will connect out to your Twitter account. It'll do the authentication like normal. However, you're not going to be able to schedule a Twitter live stream ahead of time. So basically you can schedule all of your other things. But when you select Twitter, there's not going to be an option to pick a date or a time for that. It's just basically a destination that's going to get broadcast out when you go live. A couple other things with that, you're not going to be able to, with Twitter, you can't add a description in, so it's just like a title. You also cannot, you can't send comments to Twitter from StreamYard as well. Twitter's API does not allow this functionality at the moment. So basically, you're sending out your live stream over to Twitter. People could watch there, but you are going to want to make sure you do go and engage with your audience over there. Typically, maybe after the stream if you're not able to do it live or have someone else help you.
Yeah, I do think it's kind of a different, it's a little bit of a different animal, right? Like streaming to Twitter. So, before we just start, I have all these social media platforms, I can just multi-stream to all of them, be really thoughtful about, does it make sense, right? And can you help, make sure you're providing an engaging stream over there. But Fantasy Football Hustler, all you should have to do is when you go into StreamYard, all you should have to do is just basically add a destination and then select Twitter, and you should just log into your Twitter account, and that should be all that you have to do. If you're still running into any issues, then just feel free to reach out to our support team. You can send an email to support@streamyard.com for sure. So very cool. So I want to grab this question really fast because it's actually, here's the thing. We are going to cover some features today. Some of them are what I would consider advanced features. And so when it comes to getting started and where do you start first, I always say definitely use the feature of displaying comments when you're live. StreamYard is going to display those comments for you right inside your dashboard. Click on them like we are right here so that you can be engaging with your audience. That is by far one of my favorite features. The guest feature, so be thoughtful about bringing on some guests to your streams. That's also a really, really great thing about StreamYard. It makes that whole being able to bring somebody else onto your stream awesome. And then if you're on one of the paid plans, I would definitely suggest using some of the custom graphics that are available to you as well. So, I mean, Christian, do you have any other thoughts about what are those features they should kind of get acclimated with first?
I think my first thing I would always tell people is, even though you have like, what is there, 8 views now that you can pick between, you don't need to use all of them. Just because they're there doesn't mean you need to use them all. Sometimes people will do a show where it's just a solo show with them, or maybe they have a solo and a guest, but they don't use all of them at the same time. So keep it simple and then continue to build. That's the key thing.
Yeah. So Colin, I think you just covered this, but essentially, will we be able to pull comments from Twitter soon? That is an API thing that's on the Twitter side, is it not? I mean, yeah. So we can't, unfortunately, we don't know the answer to that question because that has to do, so the API is essentially the way that software, can integrate together. So, the APIs have to be open to certain things. So there's certain things they kind of keep the doors closed on, and that's a Twitter thing. So they've not opened that up where we could be able to pull those comments over. So that's a limitation from the Twitter side for sure. So great question though. Okay. Let me see here.
Let's see if we've forgotten any questions. Let's see.
This is a good question. So Shabaka says, can any StreamYard customer stream to their LinkedIn page? That answer is no. So you have to actually apply to be approved for LinkedIn Live, and that is through LinkedIn. So you will go, honestly, if you literally just Google apply for LinkedIn Live, you'll get the link. It's a LinkedIn site. You need to apply there. It can take some time. I actually just got a message from one of my past bootcamp students, and she said, I got an email yesterday that said I'm approved for LinkedIn Live. And she said, I applied a little over a year ago. And so they are starting to open that up more and more, but you have to be approved for LinkedIn Live first. And once you're approved for LinkedIn Live, then when you go into StreamYard, just go to add destination, select LinkedIn. And because you are approved at that point, it will allow you to connect your LinkedIn profile. And that's only for personal profiles as of right now. So great question though. Make sure we don't have any other questions related to Twitter and LinkedIn.
Here's one from Sebastian. Sebastian saying, how far in advance can we schedule on LinkedIn now? Twitter's pretty much the same as Periscope, but they're working on some awesome additions. Okay, so in terms of the LinkedIn piece, they actually want you to schedule more than 7 days in advance. That was what it was previously at. So now it's I actually don't think there's a limit on that.
No, I don't think there is at this point. Yeah. Fernando has a question about chat. Which I know is not necessarily about LinkedIn and Twitter, but when selecting a message from the chat, the message appears in front of one of the cameras covering the person, but we use a custom overlay. Is there any way to shrink the custom overlay just the way it is doing on the default overlay? So essentially what I think, so if we're both on screen, it's going to cover us up, or even if we're in a different, one of the other layouts, it is going to, that chat message is going to be on the overlay. As of right now, the overlays, if you will, graphics that we add do not move. They are not responsive is what that's called. So it's really only just the different elements that we have. So that's certainly something that's interesting. Fernando, what I would suggest is go to our StreamYard.com/contact and very, very in detail describe what you are wanting the developers to explore or consider for that. That's definitely probably would be a new feature or a change to the way that everything's operating.
And kind of building off of that, actually, they can also, the other thing is, depending on the view, you can go to cam mic settings and look under general. And there is a checkbox that says shift video up for comments and banners. That does work for some of the layouts, but not all of them.
Okay. Yeah. One of our Facebook group members said that they were applied with their personal account was approved and they just got approval for their business page. So that's awesome. So again, I think they are starting to let more and more people use LinkedIn Live. So very good. Okay, cool. So guys, everybody just make sure if you do have a question, put a Q in front of it because we have over 100 people tuned in live today. I know that the numbers are going to they're going to go up on this one. So there's a lot of comments. Putting that Q in front of your question is going to help Christian and I find that question for sure, so that we don't lose it in the mix of everything. So Christian, should we move on to our next amazing new recent feature? What do you think?
Let's do that. Yeah. So what's next? So we talked Twitter, LinkedIn updates. What's next, Mel?
Well, the next one is the video library. So I actually am a fan of this one. So I will be honest, overall, the video library brings some new functionality, but really it's just a massive improvement to the StreamYard UI, and that is the design of everything. So what you're going to find is that when you log in to the to your account, you're now going to see video library as a tab out underneath your destinations. And this is essentially just a different way to access your past broadcasts. But as you can see, it's giving you a preview of them all, so you can kind of get a look at what they were. You can load more. That's another thing we want to make sure everybody knows, is that if you scroll down, just load more, and it's going to load all of your previous broadcasts. This is going to be for streamed broadcasts as well as recordings as well. So here's the menu that you have. Essentially, it's the same options you had over in when you would access it from past broadcasts. So you can still go in, delete something, share something, do whatever you want to do. So now you can also delete old broadcasts. And there is a mass way for you to select lots of videos to delete, and then you can uncheck them. So if you only wanted to delete maybe 5, there's definitely, you are allowed to delete more than one at the same time. Now, why would you want to do that? Well, that is because now we have what are called, we have a storage limit. So these videos are stored in the StreamYard cloud. And so you do have a limit on your storage based on, where you are. You can certainly buy more storage. So you might want to delete those for that reason. So this here is basically in the actual video. And you're going to notice you can play your videos from here. You can pause them. You can actually speed up the playback speed as well, which I think is really nice when you're just trying to fast forward through something to just double check something. Maybe you're looking for ways to edit that video for future reference. So you can watch it on speed. You can mute it. You have essentially a video player here, very similar to what we see with Vimeo and other, cloud-based, video storage solutions. If you do need more storage, you are going to be able to buy more storage. So if you want to use the StreamYard cloud and save more and more videos, you can certainly buy more time for those files as well. So that's essentially what the video library is. It is, as I said, really just an improvement to the UI. You can still access all of your old broadcasts, all of your old live streams in that past broadcast tab. But the video library, I believe what this is the next phase. This is, building a different place to store these videos. There could be some really exciting things coming in 2022 when it comes to that video library. This certainly is just them improving a way for us to store these streams, which, as many people know, you can now go into there and you can actually stream an old stream as well as a pre-recorded. So that's what the video library is. So do we have any questions in the comments about that?
Let me just take a look, actually. And remember, it's for recordings, by the way. So if you've made a broadcast, it's actually going to, the video library is going to be a place where if you want to delete multiple recordings at once, you don't have to go through each one and click the 3 dots and say delete recording. You'll be able to go into video library and quickly select all of them, or, if you want to delete 5 recordings, for example.
Yeah. So Jennifer, I love that she's asked this question because it's very similar. There is one minor difference between the video library and going into past broadcasts. The past broadcast is going to allow you to delete the stream as well. So when you are, it automatically records your live stream into the StreamYard cloud. And from the video library, you can delete that recording from the cloud, but it does not give you an option from the video library to delete the stream that is out there on social. So from the past broadcast, you are given the option to delete the broadcast as well, which is out there on social. So that is a minor difference between the two, but they are very similar. So there's, like I said, it's just a big improvement to the UI for sure.
Definitely. And I have another question here from Antiques from Karen. Antiques from Karen Janet. If I delete a broadcast, does it delete from my channel? So what you're typically going to have is if you are under past broadcast and you go to click the 3 dots next to the broadcast and see delete broadcast, when you do select that, it is going to pop up a box, and there is going to be an option to choose to delete it from the channel as well. So you can either delete it from just your StreamYard Studio, or you can also delete it from the channel as well. It's literally just a matter of checking the box next to the option you want to delete.
Very good. Yes, for sure. So Mike Straw Media has a feature request, which I kind of like,
okay.
Which is,
I'll make some notes. Okay.
Yeah, are there any improvements coming to how overlays transition? maybe like having a little bit of a fade. I know this has been requested before, and I believe I have heard that it's a possible option. So Mike, definitely go to that StreamYard.com/contact. There's a form there that you can fill out, and that the more and more people that maybe request that transition feature, it could potentially happen. So great question. A good idea. So one of our group members says, any plans on having options to be able to edit pre-recorded right in StreamYard? Well, as I mentioned, I believe there are some fun, exciting things coming in 2022.
Sure,
I
yeah.
know that I saw something. It was a very internal thing, but I believe it's being talked about. I think it's something that people have asked for. And again, the development team is again, they listen to all requests. It doesn't mean they're always going to do everything, but I know that it's been talked about. So we don't know for sure if this is going to happen or if it's in development, but I do know that this has been brought up before. And again, I have high hopes that the whole video library is just the beginning of something really, really grand and really great when it comes to these recorded videos. So I know that we don't know for sure, but hey, keep asking for it. You never know what's going to happen. So.
I think you may be onto something there. So we got a bunch of other questions, by the way. So we've got a question from Carmelita Black, Realtor, Conroe, Texas. What is the storage limit?
The storage limit. Okay, let me go in and take a quick peek because it is, I think it's 50.
It should be 50, actually.
I think it is.
So you should have 50 hours of storage. Yeah.
Oh, yep. I'm in the wrong one. Never mind. I was like, that's a lot. That's because it's a different account. Yes. So it says your plan includes 50 hours of permanent recording storage. And so you can upgrade and you can add more. And so for 100 hours, you can get out to 100 hours. That's going to be an additional $4.99 per month. And then you can go up from even there. And if you need more than 400 hours, essentially they're going to want to talk to you and look at a different type of account. So yeah, certainly some options. 50 hours is a lot. And again, so you definitely want to be thoughtful. So if you have some streams that are sort of like not really important or they're casual or even test streams, I know like I do a lot of test streams. Yeah. Just make sure you go in and delete those because you don't want those to be, counting against your storage limit.
And that's a great point. Yeah. And the other thing also to remember, I mean, this sort of gets into best practices for live streaming. If you know that you're doing a lot of test recordings, like that might be the first pass that you do. Mm-hmm. Second pass might be, hey, I did this stream like a year ago. Do I still need it? Maybe I want to download it and then store it on like an external hard drive or something like that. And then I can, free up more space if I need it. But, as you mentioned, Melanie, like you could always just increase your storage limits. So
Absolutely.
Let's see. A couple other questions here, by the way. So Kyle Northrup was asking, is Video Library a slower rollout? He says he doesn't have it yet.
I was under the impression that they did roll that out to everyone, but it is possible. I thought it was rolled out to everyone, but I know they were phasing it out. So some of these features, just so everybody understands, some of the features, they roll them out in phases, and they do that so that it helps create stability. They can get feedback and then they can make some fixes and some tweaks instead of just rolling things out to everyone. So sometimes we will roll things out to beta users or beta testers. We certainly did that with HotKeys so that people could kind of get in there, play around with these things, and then provide feedback. Maybe there are some bugs. Maybe there are some hiccups to the way that it was done. So it is possible that Video Library is not out to everybody. I thought that it was, but if not, I mean, Kyle, I would say if you don't see that here in the next couple of days, maybe just shoot an email over to support, or also maybe try logging out and logging back into your account. That might reset it for sure. But and I think Christian, you might be trying to get confirmation on that.
I am actually, yes. I'm literally checking while we're talking.
Yes, that sounds perfect. Okay, so Bernie says, in the video library, is there an option to upload other videos to that section and then add them to a stream or stream them individually later? So Bernie, the video library as of right now is only storing your past broadcasts and recorded video. So that's either a live stream that you did, or you may have used StreamYard to record a video, not live stream it. That is essentially what that video library is for right now. It is certainly possible that it could become a place to house, other videos or upload other videos. But as of right now, you would want to go into your brand section and upload those pre-recorded videos, like the clips, like that Christian and I are playing like throughout the stream today. You would upload those directly into the brand of your stream. So from the actual studio. As of right now, that's not the way that the video library works, but it certainly could change in the future.
So I got another question here from Clementina So I think I said that. Oh, thanks for the pronunciation, by the way.
Yeah.
Can you sort the videos or put them into folders? So I know folders are not there. Mel, when you were doing that demo, did you have the ability to sort them at all?
No, I don't believe that you can sort the videos at this time. They are essentially in sequential order. So they're in the order most recent recording to, older recordings. But the sorting feature, that's an interesting concept. And I certainly think, especially if you're doing a lot of videos, that could be very helpful. So again, I would definitely submit that as a feature request for the video library, is to be able to have a way to organize essentially those past broadcasts and those past videos for sure. So that's a good idea, actually.
Fantastic. I'm just making like a bunch of notes. By the
Yeah.
way, so
Square Table Degenerates podcast is wanting to know, did we do some November graphics? We certainly did. If you go over to our Facebook group, you can actually see a post that Julie Riley put up, a pinned post, and there are some November graphics as well. So that's a great, another great benefit to being in the Facebook community is that you're going to be able to see a lot of updates, and there is a Google Drive folder provided again for those November graphics. So just wanted to grab that real fast and point that out.
So I'm going to drop that link, by the way. If you want to access the November assets that we drop every single month, you can access them here.
Perfect. This is probably the last question we'll take on this particular topic so that we can keep going because we have so much. So Tanya says, so should we delete or download past broadcasts? It will increase storage. You all just answered my question. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. So that is, I liked that she talked about downloading though, because you can download right from that video library. So if you need to alleviate that cloud storage, then you can download the videos, and you need to have a place to store them either in your own, Dropbox or Google, Drive, or even just on your hard drive or even an external hard drive. So it certainly is a good idea to have an additional backup for those videos, especially ones that you want to be repurposing and maybe editing in the future. But that will alleviate your storage. Okay. All right. Let's see. So if you are watching from our Facebook group, then you will need to essentially give StreamYard permission to see your name and your face. And so that's a privacy setting, and that's a Facebook thing, which I love. So you're in a private group, and if you want us to be able to see your name and your face and display it when we pull your comment up, all you need to do is actually go to StreamYard.com/Facebook, and then just click on that authentication, and then come back here and refresh the stream, and you'll be in good shape. So definitely make sure that you do that. That's how you can make that happen. Okay, let's see. Last question. I am going to answer this question because it's a quick one.
Yeah, sure.
Can I record my course videos via unlisted YouTube videos so I can upload to my course platform? You certainly could. You could use StreamYard. And Tanya, you can actually use StreamYard and not actually broadcast it. You could just do the record only. So when you go to create a broadcast, it's going to ask you to select your destination. One of those options is actually record only, and you can just record it, and it's going to just stay in StreamYard. But you certainly could stream as an unlisted video to YouTube so that you can use all the cool features like the overlays, the videos, the banners, and all that stuff to create a good video, and then download that video and upload it to your learning management system for your online course. It certainly can do it that way too. Okay. All right, here we go. So, man, I feel like I'm going to like...
Let's take a break. Hold on one second.
I mean... We've only gotten through 2 items so far, but you guys are being awesome today. Like, I love the comments that we have come in, and I love the questions that you're asking, and you guys are being great. So we definitely have more to cover, so we want to make sure that we keep moving forward for you guys. So, okay, so here's the deal. Kind of with the video library, there is actually there is another part of it, and that is the ability to basically embed your videos and also share those videos. And this is actually something that was announced a while back during our big StreamYard Summit. But again, I still, a lot of people don't realize that this is an option. But Christian, before I kind of show what this looks like, let's talk about why this is important, why someone might want to use this embedding feature where they get this HTML code and they're able to actually embed it somewhere like on their website.
So I got to say, I think the first thing is, like you just said, embedding it on your website. I think the embed feature, it's super useful because you got to remember, if you have your own website, and you really should have your own website for your business or whatever initiatives you're doing, this is a great way for you to control the narrative for your customers, for your viewers. And so by having the ability to embed, for example, your finished live stream, you'll be able to do all sorts of things with that. Like you don't have to rely on the social media platform algorithms to show your content. Instead, people can, you drive them over to your website, they can check out your content. It could be part of a blog post that you make. You could make your own video library on your own website, and then this way you're able to do other things like building an email list, sell them on other offers, other things that you have that would be useful for them.
Yeah. And so let's take a look at what this looks like. So essentially, again, from that video library, you are going to be able to click those three dots and you are going to be given an option to select embed, right? And so this is actually going to give you a link that you can use. So you can just copy that link, send it to somebody so that maybe they're not on social media, but you still want to show them a video. And you could just use the link feature right there and it's going to pull this player up, right? So it's just a nice, simple, clean StreamYard branded player. They can pause, they can fast forward, they can go full screen to watch your the past recording that you did. So it's essentially a replay is it what they're viewing here. And so I really do like it. They can change the volume, as you can see here, so they can customize what they're trying to do there. Now, the other thing is, again, as we said, embedding. And Christian just gave some great examples about why you would want to embed it. You're going to be given the option to do a fixed one, and you can change the size of that. And so what I love about it is it keeps the ratio here. So you don't have to worry about, hey, if I want to make it 800 pixels wide, what's the other, height of that? It's actually going to be nice and fixed for you. And then there is a responsive option as well. And so that will work anywhere that any type of website or platform that will take a HTML code, you will be able to embed that past recording. Now, something that's really important is that if you were to delete that recording from your video library, just keep in mind that it also will delete access. So the link that you shared previously, the embed code, it would basically go to nothing because you just deleted what it was all directing to. So definitely, I love this option for people who are trying to reach an audience and they're not really using the main social media platforms. But they want to be able to share the replay with somebody. So I love that option for that. So embedding it in a blog post, embedding it on a landing page. You could even embed it on a landing page and only provide it to your email list as a benefit, right? So there's a lot of really great options there for that, for sure. Okay. Now, Mike from Never Let the Machines Win says, if you embed a video in a website, that file locked in your StreamYard video library so that you don't accidentally delete it when cleaning up. Yeah, just make sure you're careful and you always know what you got going on there. So for sure.
Well, so to answer his question, actually, let's pull Mike's comment back up, actually. So Mike, I got to say, this is a very good feature request. So basically, because basically, if you do use the embed feature and you embed it on your website and then you do delete the video, it will show up on the website that the video is not available at that point. So I'm actually going to make a note about the fact that you want it to have it where if something is embedded, don't let people delete it accidentally. I think that's a great feature request, actually. So thanks for sure.
And Colin said the same thing. So these are not stupid questions. These are not. It's again, that is actually a really good idea, is to make it so that we get that warning for sure. So, Colin was like, hey, just making sure. Yeah, if you delete it from the video library, it will delete it from, it will remove the access to that video. Because here's the deal. It's housed in the StreamYard cloud. The link that we give you and that embed code, what that does is that is essentially creating a path to them being able to view that video. They're just watching it maybe in the page, but it's a pass through. So it's actually being streamed to your web page from the cloud, the StreamYard cloud. So if you delete it from your StreamYard cloud, it will remove the ability for them to watch it from somewhere else. So if you wanted to, again, have a permanent thing, you would need to download that video yourself and house it in some sort of other type of permanent storage solution if you didn't want to worry about the StreamYard limits. So certainly something for everybody to keep in mind. For sure. So Jennifer's got a really great question here as well.
Yeah, sure.
What are the benefits of embedding a video directly to our website instead of embedding a YouTube video, which helps our metrics there? So this is kind of comes down to goals, right? Like,
love that. Yes.
I think there's pros and cons to either approach. Don't you think, Christian?
There are, absolutely. What do you think? So what's your take, Mel?
Yeah. So I think that here's how I feel about this. It depends on, one, the experience you're providing to the user, right? So if you are embedding it from, StreamYard and you're putting it into there, it's not going to pull up more YouTube videos when it's done, right?
Yeah.
It's not going to have that kind of YouTube experience that we see when we watch a YouTube video. So there's that. But also not everybody really is worried about the YouTube metrics. So, but if you are trying to grow your YouTube channel, get those hours, get that monetization, get into that place, then maybe you might want to embed the YouTube version and then, pull it in from there. I'm pretty sure that this is, again, just going to come down to the experience you're trying to provide and what your specific goals are. There's probably some other things I missed here. So what do you think, Christian?
I got to say, I think it comes back to what your goals are for this. For example, if you want to create a private membership site and you want to have, things behind a paywall or a login, for example, on your own website, yes, you can put YouTube videos up there. But the downside, as Mel mentioned, was in a way, you're actually directing people potentially away from your website at that point, because they're chasing that shiny object. And so by using just an embedded video, there are no distractions there. The only distractions are all the things you put on your website to help your viewers, your visitors, and things like that. So that's where I could see it being super useful. If you make courses, for example, another great thing to do there. A lot of times people will put a YouTube video up and the person sees your course, but then they see someone else who's also doing the same thing because it might get recommended to
related
them.
topic.
You now potentially have driven that customer away. So those are my favorite uses, I think.
Yeah. So Michael Daniels is here. Michael, I was just thinking about you the other day, actually, my friend. I haven't seen you live for quite a while. So super glad to have you back with us live for the show. So he says, so embedding is fine, but no comments. The whole reason I use StreamYard is engagement. Otherwise, I can just add videos. So I want to make a very clear distinction here. The embed feature and the share feature as of right now is only offered for previously recorded or previously streamed videos. So this is not a live embed. So, what I mean by that is you don't schedule a stream and then get an embed code and then put it on, maybe like a landing page on your site and then email your list and say, hey, here's the webinar I'm doing today, whatever. This is not a live embed, right? This is embedding a replay, essentially. Right. And so Michael's right. So the comments, when you watch a replay on YouTube, for example, from a live stream, as long as they didn't do any editing or trimming to that video, you will still be able to have the option to see that live chat replay. And it can foster additional engagement, but this is definitely a replay feature. But Michael's making a great point, which is actually one of the reasons I came to start using StreamYard as well, is the ability to display comments, engage with my audience, and see the comments right in the StreamYard dashboard. That is still part of this. It's just that, again, maybe it's another benefit to you pulling up those comments so that when there's a replay, your viewers can see the comment on screen. Because if you don't display it on screen, they have no way to see what your live audience was commenting. So definitely goes back to some best practices with how you're doing your live videos. But I wanted to make that very clear distinction.
Absolutely.
With that.
Yeah, we've got so many great questions. I'm sorry, I'm just going through all of these.
No, I know. Let's keep going. Hopefully you all are keeping up. Are you all keeping up? Are you enjoying this? Let us know. We definitely want to know for sure. So it's definitely one of those. This is gonna be one of those rapid fire kind of streams today. So
and Melanie, let's do this. So for example, if are we going fast enough? Are we going too slow? Do us a favor in the comments. Put fast if you want to, put fast if you think we're going too fast, or slow if we're going too slow.
Or if you think it's perfect, put perfect.
That's a good one, actually. Yes.
Everyone put perfect, because I don't know if I can go any faster, and I don't know if I can go any slower.
So let me look through these comments real quick and see what we've got. Let's see. Are there any that you can see about?
Yeah. So Tanya said, "Great information about the embed code. I can embed to my email subscribers. Will I have the same option for those that I downloaded to my computer?" So Tanya, the embed code is provided by StreamYard, and that is directing them to the video that is in the StreamYard cloud. So in the video library, if you have something downloaded to your computer, you would need to, if you wanted to do something similar, you'd have to upload it somewhere that provided you with an embed code to do the same thing. So something downloaded on your computer is on your computer, right? So that's definitely different. It's a different process from that. Hopefully that answered your question.
Let's pull that one back up real quick. And so the other side to that, so you could take that embed code that we provide you from your StreamYard Studio, you could put that in your email service provider, but you can't actually, if the file's on your computer, there's no way to put an embed code to that file. So it needs to be, using the embed code feature that we have available. If it's something like that you need to upload into an email, for example, and it's on your computer, you would have to go into your email service provider, add the video that way, and then hopefully it's small enough. My personal recommendation, by the way, is I actually send a lot of text emails because it depends on what the devices people are viewing from. For example, if they're viewing on mobile, a lot of that stuff is stripped out. So they don't actually see the embed feature, for example. It's all, again, it's the experience you're crafting for your audience.
Yeah. I want to pull up Pale's. This is another great thought. We were talking about the whole embedding a YouTube video versus embedding the StreamYard version. Okay. He said YouTube ads and stuff on your website. So again, if you are embedding a YouTube video, when they watch that, it's essentially a little miniature YouTube player on your website, and they are going to be seeing ads. They are anything that they watch on the way they watch it on YouTube, it's going to come through the same way on your website. So potentially some advertisements. To Christian's point earlier, it could even play an advertisement or something from a competitor of yours. Yeah. You can't control that. Right. And so you're relying on, somebody else's platform that you don't own or control. Mm-hmm. And so another benefit to using that StreamYard embed code versus a YouTube would be that control. You cannot control what YouTube is going to show that your audience member. And the other thing that's crazy is they might sit there and keep watching after your video's done. They may keep watching. It really becomes a little miniature YouTube player embedded on your site. So that's a really, really great point that I wanted to point out as well.
And I want to add something actually real quick about that as well. So the other thing is if you have monetization enabled on your YouTube channel, and let's say you happen to upload a video that someone claims they have a copyright on the music or something like that, it allows them to potentially advertise on your videos as well. So it doesn't matter if you've turned off, advertising, for example, on those videos, they still are allowed to actually show their content. So at that point, that's another reason why you'd want to use the embed feature if you want to, again, you want to craft that experience for your viewers or your audience.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely agree with that. So let me, I'm gonna address two comments very quickly.
Ooh, two at once. Okay, cool.
Very quickly. Okay, because they're kind of a double. It's the same answer for both of them. So the first one is Gary wants to know if there's any word about including background music in our streams. It would be very helpful to do so without using outside software or hardware. Okay, noted. And then Geeks on Tour says a way to flag comments, i.e. high priority or answered. Here's all I'm going to say, and then my lips are sealed. Stay tuned. That's what I'm going to say. Stay tuned, because these have been hot feature requests and the development team knows that. And all I'm going to say, and I'm not going to say anything else because I don't want to get in trouble. Stay tuned, and stay tuned very soon. That's what I'm going to say. So just more and more reasons to hang out with us over here on Restream or on StreamYard. So here's something. Somebody wants to know what camera I'm using, but Christian, you go first because you.
We're using the same one.
It took a long time. Wow, 45 minutes. Usually this gets asked like within the first 5 minutes. So Christian, you want to go first?
Sure. Yeah. Sony A6400 with a Sigma lens.
Yeah, and I'm using a Sony A6100 with the Sigma lens. Now, this is the Sigma 16 millimeter 1.8 whatever, contemporary email. Yeah, I forget. But so yeah, basically
1.4,
yeah. So these are high-end lenses attached to the mirrorless cameras. Yep. I'm using a Cam Link. So you have to, if you want to use a DSLR camera like the ones that we're using, you do have to have an interface so that your computer can recognize it as a webcam. So that is certainly another thing you have to think about. And then always you want to get a dummy battery, which essentially is a thing that goes into the battery slot and then plugs into your wall so that your camera can stay powered on the whole time. And so those are some things that you would want to do to be able to use that type of device for sure. So, okay. What else we got?
Answering that real quick. Also, by the way, you don't have to use a DSLR. There are lots of apps that you can use as well. If you want to use your smartphone as a webcam, they will actually rival the picture quality that we're getting here. So I'm going to put a link to that in the comments for everybody, so you can go check that out as well. It's a video.
Yeah, for sure. So Kyle says, is live embedding in the pipeline? So I was talking earlier about the distinction between the embed feature as of right now is to embed a replay, essentially. Live embedding is in the pipeline. Again, I know that this has been requested, and I know I've seen some internal communication that it's being discussed for sure. So the whole live embedding option, so that if you did want to kind of maybe do a webinar of some sort and do it live and to be able to have that, I do know that it's been requested and it certainly has been discussed. But again, no foresight into when or if that's going to happen for sure. I would guess that it is. I mean, personally, I would think so.
I got to say, by the way, the comments, I literally turned my head and I'm looking back and I'm like, oh my gosh, we got so many comments.
I know. I love it.
Everyone.
I love it. I love it. Some people are talking about Amazon live streaming as well. So Karinder says, I like how StreamYard use Amazon. So basically you can set, so if you're approved to do Amazon Live, you can. Amazon Live is really tricky right now. It's, you have to have there's a mobile app you have to use. Then you would actually use the custom RTMP feature inside StreamYard to use StreamYard to produce your stream over to Amazon Live. So certainly something kind of new and kind of up and coming. But right now the API for Amazon is very limited. In fact, you have to have an iOS device to even do it. So to be able to go live. And I know
dropped a link to an article, by the way, that walks you through exactly how you go and set that up. It does take a lot of multitasking. So go check that article. That would be, great. If you have comments or questions, just reach out.
Sweet. People say people are saying just right and perfect. Okay. So
I feel like we're going like a mile a minute. So
I know we are going pretty fast. I feel like I'm talking fast. I don't know if it's because I didn't really have extra coffee today. I think I'm just honestly like really excited about all this stuff. So it's good things. It's a lot of fun. So, Interesting question here. Clubhouse plus Twitter Space plus StreamYard plus YouTube. Possible?
Yes.
So
actually, that is. I actually do Twitter Spaces and StreamYard and YouTube. I did Clubhouse at one point. You basically, I use an audio interface for something like that. I feed my phone into the Rodecaster Pro, for example, and then I set up the Twitter Space in the mobile app. I start it. And I start my StreamYard broadcast, and then now everything that I talk through on my mic goes into the Rodecaster and out to Twitter and out to YouTube and any other destinations I have connected.
Gotcha.
So.
Our friend Michael says he wants you to bump up your volume a little bit over there.
Okay,
so,
let's see.
Yeah. At least I'm just glad he says I sound great, because I was like, either maybe I'm too loud and you're just right. I don't know. But
how's that? Is this better? I bumped it up a little bit.
Yeah, I heard a tiny static with it, but now you're good. You're totally good. I think it's because you moved your thing. All right, good deal. Okay, so making sure we don't have any other questions that we're missing.
What timestamp are you at, by the way, for comments?
What timestamp?
Yeah, in our dashboard. Just I want to catch up with you, so.
Oh, what? Oh gosh. Oh, I'm at 11:42. I didn't know what you meant at first.
Okay. I was like I'm 5 minutes behind. Sorry.
I did not know what you meant at first. That's a really great way to say that. eBlack TV says, where is this embed code feature? So you can actually access that embed code from the video library by clicking the three dots on any of the videos. But you can also go into, when you go to broadcast, you're going to see a tab that says past broadcast. You can certainly click there and do the exact same thing. You can click on those three dots and you will see that. I can actually share my screen and do a quick just show that really fast, because I do want to show the past broadcast part, because I do think that that's probably something that we should show. So let me
so I already have it pulled up, actually, if you want to pull it up.
Perfect. Yeah, there you go.
There we go. Awesome. So here we are within our studio. You're going to see past broadcast, and so if you want to get the embed code, for example, we're going to click the three dots. So we're under past broadcast. I think you can see this. Past broadcast. We're going to go down to the three dots over here. And then now you're going to see embed and share right here. Now, when I click that, I'm going to get the embed option where I can choose responsive or fixed depending on my website. Simply just copy all of this code, go over to your website, if you're on WordPress, go to the HTML tab, paste that information, save your blog post, your page, whatever it is on your website. And then when you refresh, you'll have the video player right there on the site, or you can just use the share option if I want to send this out to people and have them go watch something.
Perfect.
Any other questions on that?
No, I think that's perfect. Very good. So Carmelita says, I haven't tried the embed code for email. Is there a quick link on StreamYard? So you can, there is an embed code, but there's also a link that you get as well. But Christian, do we have a blog post about this one yet?
I don't think we do, actually.
Okay. Well, we will make one.
However, let me pull my screen back up. I'll show her how to access this. So What you can try, Carmelita, it really depends on the email service provider. Instead of just going to the three dots and selecting embed and share over here, select that and then select the share option. And I would try getting this link.
Yep.
So I'd try
right
getting
there.
the share and then try grabbing this link and see if you can copy that and bring it into your email service provider. Some of them can basically unparse that and access the video, for example. So I'd try that.
Perfect. Perfect. Very good. Okay, so I'm going to keep moving here, making sure. I want to see if we have other questions. Okay, I'm trying to catch up to all the comments. Oh, another point, is that if you're going to use a DSLR camera, you want to have one that has clean HDMI. That's what we want. Clean HDMI is really what we're looking for there. So, okay, I think that we're about ready for the next feature. What do you think?
Let me get to the bottom of the comments real quick. Yeah.
Yep. Just making sure. We have not talked about hotkeys yet. That's right. So
let's see. I think we're good, actually.
Joanne said,
yeah.
I do talk fast when I get excited. Oh, man. Joanne, you haven't even seen me hyped up yet. Okay.
So, yeah, I think we got all the questions there. So remember, if you have a question specifically on a topic, put a Q in front of it. That will definitely help us find it faster. Basically, when we have to go through your comments, we literally have to read your whole comment to see if it's actually a question or not. So do us a favor. That will significantly help us get your comments quickly. Okay.
Yes. So there are questions that are like, have you done a stream about the new admin producer rights?
Yes.
I saw a couple questions about that before. So, I mean, Christian, what do you say? You think it's time to talk about the next feature?
I think we should actually, yes.
All right. Well,
let me get my notes pulled up.
While you get your notes pulled up, I'm just gonna get everybody hyped. Okay. And if you weren't awake yet, you're now awake because that music was really loud. Sorry about that. We apologize for that. We will definitely make sure that we are keeping the audio levels on those videos a little bit more. Whew, my eardrums are... But yeah, let's talk about StreamYard Teams. This is huge. This is something that was announced at our live stream summit earlier in the early summer, late spring. And it did take us a little longer than we wanted to actually get it released, but that's because it is so awesome. And we wanted to really make sure that the functionality was going to be not only working properly, but also appropriate, because this is certainly something that required a lot of thought, a lot of feedback from a lot of users. And so I personally am glad that StreamYard did take the proper time to make sure that this was done right. And so, but StreamYard Teams is now out. So Christian, let's talk about StreamYard Teams.
So StreamYard Teams, basically, it's a way for you to have seats within your StreamYard account. You're going to be able to assign people different roles and permissions within the Teams feature. For both you and your team, and then there won't be that need for, hey, let me go and share my email address with people, and then have to send them a code. For some people, they might not get the email. Other times, it basically creates a pain point. And so with Teams, it makes it a lot easier for you to collaborate with other people during your live streams. So I just want to run through a couple of things with this. So there are 3 roles here. You have an owner, an admin, and a co-host for StreamYard Teams. There's also going to be the ability, as I mentioned, to help people produce your streams, either if they're on stage or backstage. There's also the whole security aspect as well. So this way, again, you don't have to do any sort of code sharing or things like that. Let's see. Let's just want to give them a quick demo, Mel. What do you think?
Yeah, let's do it. I know that this was something that you and I were sort of like, this is so fresh and so new. The Teams feature that Christian and I even are like literally like still dabbling in it and everything. So we're definitely going to show you what this interface looks like. But here's the thing that I wanted to talk about before we jump all the way into the demo is when I first heard about this, the reason I was so excited is because I think this opens up the door for collaborations. And I think that I really do believe that 2022, when it comes to live streaming and other things, collaborations is going to be huge. I'm already seeing this huge trend in collaborations. What I mean by collaboration is, of course, doing a show, having a guest on your show. But what about co-hosting shows together? What about partnering up with somebody else and actually having a show you do together that's on both of your channels and you are just simply doing it together, right? I think this is huge. I think we're starting to see more of this when it comes to podcasts and live streams as well. And so with this feature, you can add someone to your account as a member, and then if they have admin access, which you would decide to give them, they can add their destinations as well, and then you can be streaming to both of your platforms. This is huge when it comes to collaborations. And so personally, I'm really excited about this. This is one of the ways that you can absolutely set up, and really grow your channel, grow yourself by doing these collaborations and having these partner streams. So certainly super excited. So Christian, let's definitely jump in. And I know we're already getting lots of questions. So I'll tell you what, while you're doing the demo, I'm going to kind of get a kind of a little thing, look at these questions here, and we'll jump into these questions. Yeah,
let's do that. So basically now, within your StreamYard account on the consumer side of Teams, you'll be able to, when you log into StreamYard, you should see this. Basically, this is going to be off to the left. You're going to see an area called members, and then you're also going to see team settings. And you're also, by the way, for those of you, when you first log in, you are going to see a banner at the top as well. And that's because basically what we're doing is we are giving you up to 2 seats on your team basically for free. And so you'll have you as the owner, and you can assign that additional seat to somebody else. So the way that the Teams feature works now is, first thing you'll want to do is you'll probably want to go into team settings that's there at the bottom, and you're going to be able to create a team name. So for example, this could be, you could create a team name for, for example, if you have multiple shows you do, maybe you have multiple teams at some point, or, you could make one team, for example, and then have members on that team that are able to help you do things. So basically they go to team settings, you can create a team name there. And then when you go to members on the left-hand side, you're going to have the ability here in the top right, you're going to be able to actually go and invite people to join your team. Very simple. You're not going to have somebody log in. In this case, you invite them with their email address. They're going to get an email. It is going to say pending there on screen until they've accepted it. And then you're going to be able to then assign them a role. For example, as I mentioned, you've got owner, you've got admin, and you've got co-host. And it's going to make it easier as well for you. So Mel talked about, being able to collaborate with other people. Let's say Melanie and I wanted to work together on something, and she's like, hey, I want to share this out on my social channels as well. So I don't have to give her, complete access to my account like I did before. Now I would add her, for example, I'd probably add her as an admin. I would allow her to go in and add her destinations, and then I would be able to revoke that access by simply just removing her from the team or changing her permissions from admin down to co-host. So that is the StreamYard Teams feature. Melanie, let me know when you're ready, and we'll jump into some Q&A here.
I mean, let's do this. Yeah. So, okay. So let's pull down that overlay. So we have lots of questions coming in. So
I know,
get ready.
That number
so
okay, let's do it.
Okay. So let me see. Oh, I went up too far. Hold on. I'm getting there.
So timestamp, where are you at? I
am at this one right here, wherever that 11:55. So Anna said, will there be an option where guests can either be given the ability to comment or not comment? I was so hoping that would be a part of Teams when it arrived. So Anna, this is definitely something that has been asked for before as well. So, but it is not currently part of this StreamYard Teams release, this version of the release of StreamYard Teams. So I just want to make sure everybody understands what Anna's referring to. So right now, Christian and I are co-hosting this show together. We are both able to pull up overlays, click on banners, click on comments. We can produce the stream together. We are co-hosting, right? If I were to have a guest on screen though, which is when I use that invite code, I invite my guest, they join my stream, they have no controls. They can't control anything other than their mic and their camera. Essentially, they can type in the private chat. They cannot comment inside of the comments part of the dashboard, meaning type a comment and publicly display that comment. That is not part of this release of StreamYard Teams. StreamYard Teams is not the same as guests. I want to make sure everybody knows that there is a huge difference. So StreamYard Teams is essentially allowing, based on the permissions and the types of roles that you assign, is letting them have some controls in the stream with you. The guest feature, the guest experience is completely separate from StreamYard Teams. So, but what you're talking about, Anna, has certainly been requested before. So if it's something you feel passionate about, then you can absolutely submit that request to our development team by going to StreamYard.com/contact. But no, that's definitely, it's not part of this release, but maybe it's coming in the future. How can someone beta test future features for you? Where they need to email us, is that right? Atlanta Carcast wants to know.
Yep. If you want to join the beta Atlanta Carcast, just go to StreamYard.com/contact. You can just email us there, and we can and then just request like, hey, I'd like to join the beta, and they can get you added.
Perfect. Real quick, Melissa Johnson is asking about if StreamYard works with Working Live. I'm not familiar with Working Live, but if Working Live will accept, will be able to give you RTMP, meaning like a stream key and all that, then you would be able to use StreamYard to stream to Working Live. As long as it provides you with those data points, you would go into StreamYard and create a custom destination using that RTMP feature. So Rohan says, what are the benefits of Teams for collaborators? So I did mention a couple of those, just some of the ideas that you can have. Something that I think is important to understand here too is that you are given a certain number of seats. You can certainly purchase more seats, but you can also remove someone. Is that right, Christian? So you can add someone as a collaborator, maybe a co-host for a one-time show, or maybe you're doing a series, a 4-part series, and then you can actually remove that person as well, and then you can add another collaborator down the road. So I do think that one of the biggest benefits of collaborations is, especially when you're bringing on people and their audience is also going to benefit from what you're talking about. So bringing a guest on is one thing, but actually bringing a collaborator and letting them stream this broadcast to their audience, as long as the audiences match and are going to both benefit from the content that you and your co-hosts are sharing, then that is a great way to live stream to both audiences. And you can actually potentially grow your own following because they're going to say, oh, I really like this person that's on the show with the person I'm already following. I'm going to follow them now. So one of the big benefits of collaborations too is it is getting you in front of another person's audience as well. And you're also both able to share in the benefits of live streaming versus, you have a co-host, but you're always streaming to your channel and not their channel. And then they have to stream the replay. It lets you both go live on both your platforms. So I do love that as well. Can you think of any other benefits?
I gotta say, I really like the idea of just adding somebody temporarily to things. Like if I'm gonna for example, if I'm gonna have like just a random stream, adding somebody that way, or if I want to test out different co-hosts or things like that. That's one of my favorite things, I think, about collaborating with people. And obviously the big thing you mentioned at the beginning, which is being able to add their social media destinations. That to me is like a big thing, because then that's going to help, like as you're having more guests on, it's going to help you amplify your streams as well to reach some different audiences.
For sure. Now, with that being said, someone does have to have admin access to add their destinations, essentially, because they are the admins of their own accounts. Michael's making a great point here. Don't just do this with just anybody, right? So you definitely want to vet this out. If you're going to give somebody admin access to your account, you are going to want to be able to ensure that this is a good fit for you. Because, in fact, we can pull it up. I'm going to pull this up on my screen, actually, because I think that this is really helpful to see this chart. So let me share my screen.
Okay.
So this chart essentially is giving us a glimpse at what the different roles include. So, just keep in mind that admin access, they are going to be able to actually add other members and assign roles. They can create broadcasts. They can end broadcasts. They can upload. They can do all these things. Now, they can't delete a team or manage your billing. That's only under the owner. But they have pretty much access to just about everything else. And so make sure it's a trustworthy person. You're essentially handing them keys. You're giving them keys. You're not permanently handing them keys, but you are giving them keys to be able to go in. So if you make them mad, they can come in and make your life a little bit miserable for a minute. So Michael's making a great point about that. And these are the current roles as they reside today. These could certainly change. I know that I've provided a little bit of feedback about maybe a producer role, right? So that maybe is a little bit in between the admin and the co-host, giving somebody a little bit more control over the assets and doing things, but not control over, like adding destinations and things like that. So, but a great point. So here's another question that we have as well from Hiroshi. Does Teams member have to have a StreamYard account? So I believe they do, right? I believe they have to have a StreamYard account.
I do think they have to have a StreamYard account. Remember, it's free to sign up as well. They can sign up for a free plan. And again, you're basically inviting them into your team. So, you're giving them access based on, whichever role you assign them, whether that is the admin or the co-host role. So again, super easy for them to sign up. If they didn't have an account, for example, they would essentially just be joining as a guest. And so, you typically want to have them then sign up, I think. So.
Yeah, and I think that that's a really important point that you're making is that this is your account. When you invite them in, they're being a part of your account. So they can just have one of the free accounts if that's all they need to do. So for sure. So, okay, so we got more questions. So can you explain the costs and levels required for the Teams feature? So Christian, I know that you pointed out that the Teams gives you, I'm looking for the pricing here. We each get 2 free seats, right? So that, and one of those seats is yours. So you basically are given the ability to add one additional person to your account. And that is for everyone. Is that right?
Yeah, that's across all the accounts.
Yeah. And so it looks like to add more seats, I'm going to pull this up.
I think like a pack of 5, I think.
Yes,
right.
That's
and
what
I
it
think
looks
we're
like.
actually running them I think they're being run at a discount at the moment.
They are. So actually, you can buy them for 90% off right now. So you can get additional seats added to your account. If you do that right now, you can claim that discount. Essentially, this is all accessed inside of your StreamYard dashboard. So when you go in there, you will see the members tab out here on the left, right underneath your destinations. And then you'll be able to add more seats right here. So right inside the platform, you can actually add more seats. And again, we're running a deal right now, 90% off on those additional seats. So there's your pricing. So it's essentially full price.
Well, let me kind of elaborate that. It says over 90% less than buying the individual account. So for example, if you had a team of 2, fantastic. Let's say you wanted to have 5 people have access. Instead of having to have 5 full StreamYard accounts, you'd be able to have additional seats for those people on your team. Does that make sense?
Got it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's
that
where
makes sense.
90%.
Got it. That makes sense. Okay. Yeah. Thanks for actually clarifying that because I butchered that one.
And if you do need more than 15 seats, by the way, you can contact us as well. They're at the bottom, so don't miss that. And you can chat with our team and whatnot, and we can see which
plan is best for you. For sure. Okay. So this is a great point. So wouldn't that be duplicate content on YouTube? When we were talking about the collaborations and doing the streaming to multiple channels. Christian, you've done that. You have done multiple streams to multiple YouTube accounts. Are there any risks with that? Are there any issues with that?
So typically, like YouTube, for example, like if you're doing a stream directly to the channel, they don't really see that as duplicate content. So it's typically okay there. The thing I would do though is I would make sure that the message was different going out to those channels. Don't just copy and paste the same message. Like, hey, I'm going to hit 5 channels at once. Yeah, the description, the title, maybe the title could be the same, but the content wise, if you do add, for example, we're talking about like, let's say Mel and I were collaborating on one stream and we were streaming out to her channel and mine. They don't see it as duplicate content in that sense. So, but you do want to make sure that it doesn't necessarily look the same with the description, for example. So.
Gotcha. Okay. I love that question though, because that's something to consider and think about. Yeah. Can you do more than one live stream at the same time with Teams?
I believe so on that one.
Yeah. I'm not sure. That's something to test for sure. Right. So yeah, I think can you do more than one live stream if 2 people are logged into your account at the same time right now?
Yeah.
I think so. So yeah, I would think that you could. Michael wants to know, is Teams live for everyone now? I believe that it is. I believe that it is now out for everyone. So again, if you aren't seeing a feature, maybe just log out, log back into your account, that could be just something funky with your cache and how things are set up. It really shouldn't be an issue, but log out, log back in, see if you have these new features. And then if not, you can always just email us at support@streamyard.com and they'll let you know what's going on there, or maybe get it rectified. So, okay. So Sandy says, I can't wait for the ability to bulk delete. Sandy, you can actually bulk delete as right now. We demoed that earlier. So
bulk
go
upload,
catch,
actually, I think, right? Or which bulk delete is she referring to, actually?
well, bulk delete. So maybe she's talking about assets, but you can bulk delete videos in the video library. So your past broadcasts, you can bulk delete that. So we did demo that. We showed that earlier in the stream. So didn't want Sandy to think you couldn't bulk delete. Bulk deleting assets though, like the overlays. That's,
you can't do bulk delete yet. We'll talk about that actually when we get to that feature as well. I was gonna say bring that one up. Let's see.
Yes.
So.
Go ahead,
Team
Christian.
With admin rights can stream to their destination right. Will that be in addition to what the host can? In other words, will it increase the number of destinations we can stream to within our plan?
I was multitasking.
I gotta reread this one.
Okay, I'm gonna try it this time. How about that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so a team member with admin rights can stream to their destination, right? Yes. Will that be in addition to what the host can? In other words, it will increase the number of destinations we can stream to within our plan. So they're talking about multi-streaming. So this would be, I do not think that the destinations are different. So if you're on the basic plan, you can stream to 3 destinations. If you have 3 team members and you all want to add your Facebook accounts, great. But if one of them wants to add their YouTube account in addition, you will not be able to stream to 4 channels. So the multi-stream is not changed in regard. So you have 3 destinations on the basic plan and then up to 8 destinations on the professional plan as of right now. So that is the way that those plans are set up at this time. So
if you do add additional destinations, as you're mentioning, like say I had, say you and I were going to stream to 8 destinations combined between us, but my plan only allowed 3, for example, I'd want to scale back and just pick the main ones I'd want to scale there. I'd want to use or upgrade the plan.
Yeah, got it. So, okay. So Antiques from Karen. So you can stream on 2 channels at a time with 1 chat stream. Yes. So again, the Teams thing is allowing someone to have permissions to connect their destination to your account. Okay. So, but then the multi-streaming, it works the exact same way as it always did. So you would, when you go create that stream, you would go select, whatever destinations. And if your other admin person or your co-host has added their destinations, you can select their destinations too. And then again, depending on where you are with the multi-streaming plan, then 3 or up to 8, anywhere you're streaming to that will send the comments into StreamYard will show up in that one dashboard, in that one studio where you are streaming. So right now we can see all the comments coming from YouTube, from Facebook, and from LinkedIn. And that would be no different if you are using the Teams feature. The Teams feature is essentially bringing other people into your account to do certain things. But the other functionality is all the same. So the multi-streaming and all that stuff is all the same. So think of it that way. And again, this is awesome when you want to have somebody supporting you even. So we talked a lot about co-hosts and collaborations, but I know that Jennifer commented earlier and she produces a lot of streams. She can now stay backstage. She can actually be in control. She can help control certain things and, have her own access point, have the guests have their own access points. And so this is also great for people who are assisting your streams, not just on screen with you, having team members inside, the stream with you in the studio, able to pull comments up for you, able to play your overlays for you, do all those things to help produce your stream so that you can focus on the camera and your audience. That's also another great benefit of adding a team member using the StreamYard Teams feature too. So,
and adding to Antiques from Karen's comment here. So, if you're streaming out to multiple channels, as long as you are within your StreamYard dashboard, producing the stream, watching the stream from backstage, for example, all of the comments are coming in for any of the destinations that are connected, provided they send those comments back to StreamYard, and that would be under the comments tab.
For sure. Okay, so Bishop Donald Oliver says, why do you lose a seat if you are the owner and may need 2 persons to assist? So you're not losing a seat. It's just the way you have to think of it. So 2 seats is what you get. So you get what you're getting for free without any extra cost is 1 additional team member. So all accounts come with 2 seats now. So one of those seats is you as the account owner. And so, you are able to add one additional person. If you need more seats, you can buy more seats for sure. So we're not losing any seats. It's just that everybody's now given 2 seats total, and one of those seats is you. So that's just the way to kind of like look at it a little bit different, right? So.
And those seats are also interchangeable. They're not permanent. So for example, just because like if I give Melanie a seat on my team and then I remove her, I get that back. And so just kind of think of it like that as well. So for example, if you need 3 people, for example, you and then 2 other people, you may want the 5-seat plan. And then at that point, that would give you some additional seats to bring in other producers. Or, hey, if you're producing other streams, then that allows you to run one production and someone else to be able to run something else.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so I'm not totally. So is Teams global or per event? I think again, this goes back to the Teams is for your account. Yeah, it's for your account. So you can't. For example, I think what Payla is saying here is, I can't go create one stream and say, okay, I want this team member on this stream, and then I'm going to go create this stream over here, for Friday, and I'm going to have this team member part of it. You can't separate the access points for the streams. It is global. It's in your whole account. So that's a great question as well, for sure. DePaul wants to know, will annual purchases be possible for added seats? That's a great idea, annual plan type of thing for the seats. I don't know the answer to that, but that is certainly something that we can take back to our team, because right now it looks like they can upgrade per month. So maybe there is an option for looking into doing an annual thing. That's definitely something that we should notate and take back to the team.
Making that note right now.
Yeah.
Let's keep going.
Not related to Teams, but super easy to answer. Eliza says, how do you play music on your stream without copyright strikes? You have to play copyright-free music or music that you have the rights to play. It's that simple. There are some times that I know that people will say, oh, but I have the rights to this. I'm using Canva Pro, for example. And a lot of times there's issues with, the way you download a file, the ownership rights come with that file, then it gets, uploaded. Make sure that if you're using something like Canva Pro, for example, this is where I always hear the issue is that someone says they made a video in Canva, they used the music inside Canva, and then they, downloaded their video, and then they played it, and then they got a strike. I know I'm a certified Canva creative, and I have brought this up to that team, and they said that usually when that happens, it's because they didn't attach their YouTube channel to their Canva account when they downloaded that video file. So sometimes it's a matter of making sure you have certain settings correct in your video platform. But the other big thing is just make sure you're paying for a subscription for music, or you're using copyright-free music. And I know that this is something that comes up quite a bit. There are going to be some instances where you might have an issue. You can certainly go through the YouTube the YouTube process. And I've always heard that people I've never heard anyone say that they weren't able to get it resolved when they were able to actually validate that they had the rights to play that music.
Yeah. And it's a tricky thing. But again, it's something where you just want to make sure you've bought the the correct rights. So you don't want to you can't take music from Spotify or Apple Music or any of those things. Like just because you have a subscription does not necessarily mean you can use it for commercial purposes, which is basically anything you do to make money. Doesn't matter if you don't make any money, it doesn't matter. You still have to buy the right license to be able to play that.
I love that you said license, because even with Epidemic Sound, some people will be on the basic plan, but then they want to use it, on 2 podcasts, for example. Well, then you need to upgrade to the commercial plan. So there's a lot of little things. Make sure your licenses are correct. Okay, so Mike from Never Let the Machines Win says, can we have multiple teams? It would be handy for keeping co-hosts from seeing other shows I do. It certainly would be handy. So Mike, you actually might want to look into StreamYard, the business plan. So the StreamYard business plan, I believe, allows you to essentially very similarly, the business plan is very similar the way it operates with Teams, except it does give you additional options. So Mike, you might want to talk to our team about the business plan and get some information on how that works. So yeah, good question though. Let's see. I'm scrolling down. I'm scrolling down. We already talked about guests being able to comment on their own, so we already addressed that. So a lot of repeat questions here about music. Not going to go over those.
Let's bring up Tom's comment here. Tom from Alaska says, hey, I wish the pricing model was per seat instead of per 5 seats. If there are 3 of us, we'll be paying for 5. So I think the other thing to keep in mind is the more seats, the lower the cost it's going to be. So, think of it like this. If you're paying for an individual seat, typically might cost more than having, like, for example, 5 seats in that case. So it could potentially lower the cost. And then the other thing also is, just think of it like this: you can scale your business. So for example, you may be doing one show, but then this allows you to be able to take on another show, for example, and then you now have additional space to quickly spin up another show. So, that's how I would tend to approach it.
Sure. Yeah.
But I will make a note about the, price per seat. So let me just grab this real quick. But that's a great comment.
Yeah. And, oops, I think I accidentally, hold on. I lost it. There we go. So Michael's kind of coming back to this per event versus global, or, your account. He said it would be nice. I mean, he's saying, I think adding a co-host and admin per event, he would like to have that, because he doesn't want the added person he may not want that person to have access to every show he does. That's certainly is an option. It certainly is something to consider. Again, this, I believe, is a possibility in the StreamYard business plan. You can absolutely break things up and give people different access to different things. If it's essentially creating different teams, and you can have different things accessed in each team. So it is a nice feature, but it is a premium feature. So maybe, again, Michael, reach out to our team about the StreamYard business plans. We have an awesome team that's very good at talking through those options to help you identify if it's the right plan for you. It's more of an enterprise style plan. But again, depending on the types of shows you're doing, how many you're doing, it may be the right fit for you. And to Paul saying, how do you make multiple teams? As of right now, in this particular release of StreamYard Teams, you get one team as of right now.
And I mean, I'd also look at it like, I'm going to go back to the same thing I said earlier. It's about scaling your business as well. So, if you're in, if you know that you have you need multiple teams, for example, like for various projects you're doing, that to me suggests like, hey, you're on that enterprise side. Like you're looking to you have like you have other places you're working with, things like that. And so you do need, it scales with you. So
right.
That's the approach I would take with it. For
sure. Yeah. And it's certainly something, again, the StreamYard business plan is something I think that is not needed. Not everybody needs it, right? That's why it's specialized. That's why we put you in touch with somebody to go through it to make sure it is a proper fit for you. But certainly anyone here that is producing shows for others, certainly something that you might want to consider as well. And just another, this is another question from the Blue Lounge, essentially the similar question. So we'll make sure that everybody in our team understands that you guys, lots of you have these questions about, can I add multiple teams? Can I give certain people access to different things? So we will make sure that we bring that back to our team so that we can continue to add this information on our support page and others, because we certainly want, we love these questions, because this is literally the first live Q&A that StreamYard's been able to do about StreamYard Teams. Yep. So hearing your questions really is helpful for us. So this is really good stuff. But essentially, you cannot have more than one team right now with this release of StreamYard Teams. Okay, let's keep moving. We're moving on. I did see a couple comments about copying and pasting comments directly from the StreamYard studio into basically the ability to copy and paste, right? As of right now, you can't copy and paste that item because of the way that the UI works. So I don't, that's not currently a function. I don't know if that's in the thing. Again, I would suggest going into our, put that in as a feature request if you need a way to do that. I think it'd be cool if you could export all the comments. I think it'd be neat if there was a way to export all these comments and then you could pull out the questions. And I think that would actually be pretty awesome as well. So, I mean, I literally just came up with that on the fly. That idea.
It's all good. Well, and while you're doing that, I was over there like typing it out. So
that's hilarious.
All noted on that.
I love it.
By the way, we had a couple of people asking, like, how do they get access to how do they see the comparison chart of the admin, the owner, the admin, and the co-host? Here's more information about StreamYard Teams. I'm gonna put that in the chat for everyone.
Okay. And this is the chart essentially. Again, I'm just going to pull that back up on my screen, so that everybody can see what that chart looks like. It is one in the support article. In that article, I guarantee we'll get a lot longer because it's pretty short right now. I'm sure, again, all these questions that you guys are asking, we will put them into some sort of FAQ that will get added into this article. So it's definitely a brand new thing. And, now that we're getting your feedback, we can continue to add more information to that. Okay. So let's see. I'm looking for some more comments here. Can you buy individual seats at $5 so you could have a co-host and an admin without having to buy 5 seats? As of right now, it looks like the only option I see is to go from 2 seats to 5 seats.
Yeah.
So definitely something, again, that we'll take back to the team. I could certainly see a lot of people not needing all 5 and just wanting maybe 3 or 4. But it's, as of right now, it's set up this way. Maybe it's something that the billing team or whatever can look at changing. The other thing I'll say is don't ever hesitate to reach out to StreamYard. So emailing support at StreamYard.com and telling them, I only need 1 seat. I really only need 1 additional seat. Sometimes they can work certain things out with you if you're able to do that. So, we can't, they try to keep everything as simple as possible, but then that doesn't mean that nothing, something you're thinking about or needing isn't possible. So maybe just reach out to support at StreamYard.com to see if that's a possibility that they're willing to entertain. That's what I would suggest. So
I want to bring up NLTMW's comment here, by the way, as well. This is something to think about for StreamYard Teams. So, for example, if I'm the owner of my account, I could invite Melanie, for example, to be part of my team. Melanie, though, also has the ability to remove herself from the team as well. So let's say I just got busy and I forgot to remove her, and she's like, hey, I'm no longer doing this. Like 6 months later, she could remove herself at any point as well. And again, that's simply, she just goes into her account. She'd go under members at that point, and she'd be able to remove access.
Nice. So. Very good. And with that, so we have 2 questions here that are pretty related to that. So I'm going to address both of these. So Vicky says, are you able to change team members without additional fees? And then Zori says, so you can have a one-time collaborator on Teams, and the function of StreamYards would be the same as a single person. One-time collaborator is the reason I saw that one. Yeah, so you can add someone to your account, and then you can remove them. So if you wanted to have someone help this week, and then you didn't want to pay for more seats, but next week you need somebody else, you can remove them. It would be cumbersome to be adding and re-adding and adding and re-adding. Again, if you want the convenience, there's an additional cost to those additional seats. Much like really any software platform that allows you to have multiple users, you have to pay per user. That is essentially the way that software works. So, but there are ways you can work around it. It's just maybe just a little bit more cumbersome on your part. So you can certainly have someone come in one time and then never be a collaborator again, for sure.
So I don't know. I kind of want to take some of these questions people in here. They're sort of not Teams related. But
this one is, sorry, I pulled it up. Sorry.
No worries.
We can definitely jump into those other questions. So DJ Dave said, would the other party you are collaborating with in order to stream to their socials also need a StreamYard account? So in order for them to actually be added to your team, they do have to have a StreamYard account. As Christian mentioned earlier, they can just have a free StreamYard account. So in order for someone to be added to, as a collaborator, co-host, admin, whatever, they do have to have a StreamYard account, but they don't have to have a paid account. So they can have a free account. They can get in there. If you make them an admin, then they would be able to add their destinations to your account.
And that would be based on the number of destinations your account allows. So for example, if you only had 3, for example, 3 destinations, and you were taking up 2 of those, for example, that would only allow them to have 1 destination, be able to add 2. So again, it's all within so they join your team, you have 3 destinations, for example, they can only add as many destinations are available. So, okay. What other questions do you want to bring up?
Let's see. This one, Hiroshi says, is there any way to choose a specific broadcasting as Teams co-hosting, just like Invite? They will make easier for the co-hosting shows. Thank you. Is there a way to choose a specific broadcasting as Teams? So I think, again, this is going back to people really do want that ability to have a collaborator on a specific show, not the whole account, which is, but as of right now, that is not the case. So that is not the case.
And remember, this is version 1.
So, exactly. This is the first release. This is not the end. This is not StreamYard Teams. This is all you get. This is the beginning. Yeah, for sure.
Take your feedback, we refine it, and so forth. So, what other questions do you have? You want to pull up?
I'm scrolling through here. I'm at 12:11 in the timestamp.
Okay, cool. Let me go back to that one. Okay.
Okay.
Let's see. So let's see what we've got here. Clement, so I'm going to just take some random questions here. Clementina, by the way, if you want to talk about streaming to Clubhouse, just reach out to me, and I'm more than happy to help you with that. It requires some hardware, some other things, so easy to address, but not necessarily during the live chat.
Cool. I got one here. So Janaz says, love the co-host feature, though the naming of the feature might be confusing. Would love to have the team co-host be able to post reply comments also. So yes, so that is actually, I am just double checking. They cannot. Yes, that is correct. So I actually have already pushed that info through myself. I've said I think we need one more role that is in between admin and co-host that gives them some more ability. And so what that I've titled it producer role. Just essentially that they're able to do a little bit more. So definitely a great suggestion. I've pushed that through as well myself. So I do think that I personally agree. I think that there needs to be some ability for that co-host, if you want them to give them some additional, ability right there. So
here's a good question from Ken Wall here. They're saying, will a team member be part of the 10 people we have total? So again, you got to look at it like this. They're part of your team, meaning they can access your account. They can help you run things. They can help you do things during your broadcast. The only way that they're actually then part of that 10 would be, and I think you're referring to the people you bring on screen, would be if they were in the actual broadcast itself. So, for example, if they were if they were part of the team and they just weren't participating, they don't count towards your 10. But if you did have them in the studio, for example, then they would count towards your 10 people.
Yes. That's a perfect distinction. So, and I think is it 12 people you can have backstage? Is that the max?
I think it's 12, yeah.
And that's on the pro plan. So that's on the professional plan. I believe that it's 12. So if you did want to have a co-host or a producer backstage that's on your team and not on screen, they won't count towards the 10, but because you can have up to 12 people down, in the whole, studio in general. You can have up to 10 on screen altogether.
Yeah,
so
it's 10 people in the stream on basic, pro, or business. You can have 6 people in the stream on the free plan, but up to 10 people can enter the broadcast studio. And then the maximum participants you can have in the studio on the business plan is a total of 15, including the host. You can move people in and out at any time to accommodate for those numbers. So, yeah.
Yes.
So it's 6, 10, 10, 10, 10, 12, 10, 15. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Thanks. So Jeff in the zone says, does StreamYard support notifications from YouTube, such as new subscribers using Streamlabs? As of right now, there is not an integration. With that, you do get super chat alerts. So super chats do come in if you are monetized and someone gives you a super chat on YouTube, it will actually show up in your comments queue as a whole different color so that it's like, don't miss this super chat. And so even when you display it on screen, it actually is displayed as a different color as well. But as of right now, there are no integrations for alerts. So streaming alerts, this is for those of you that aren't sure what we're talking about. Sometimes, you can set up certain things and configurations with other applications where if someone subscribes, it'll actually pop up and say, new subscriber, Jeff in the zone, So that does require a different type of integration that currently is not supported by StreamYard. I think it'd be cool.
Yeah, I made a note, by the way. Made a note.
Yeah.
So
okay, awesome. Okay, let's keep moving then.
Let's see. By the way, remember, if you have any questions, just put a Q in front of it, and that'll help us find these faster.
This question, I'm so sorry. This question came up earlier, and it's not necessarily related to Teams, but I do want to make sure that Caleb knows. So Caleb Sampson says, any way to have audio interaction without camera or avatar? I am the producer for 2 guys that are on screen and want to interact at times with the audience and them without having to add myself back in. So Caleb, right now there is, outside of the private chat, which is text only, there is no way for you to communicate with anyone else in the studio. In order for them to hear your voice or hear you, you would have to come up on screen. Now you could, you could turn off audio avatars. Then you would actually, we've called this like voice of God, voice of Oz, whatever it is. But you can be able to talk, but the audience would hear you as well, right? So that is something I think is Caleb's trying to find a way to interact without being on screen. There's 2 things here, I think.
I'm debating whether this is like, hey, I want to be able to talk to, the people like in another ear, for example. If that's the case, I would recommend like using, a lot of people, they use a separate call-in number and a second set of headphones. They have one earpiece in. They're making their phone call over there, able to talk to people, and then they're muted so that they're not on screen and they can talk to the other person. They can hear it. That is one option. The other option, though, is, as you mentioned, to use is to turn off the audio avatars feature actually.
Yeah, I turned our audio avatars off on this stream, by the way.
So let me pull up my screen and we can just kind of demo this real quick. So
Okay.
so this is the StreamYard Studio, and so for example, if I happen to be in the stream, for example, right now, you're going to see like I'm in audio avatar mode. However, if I go into cam mic settings, go to general and go to audio avatars, and I turn this off, I want you to watch here at the top because you're going to see a little notification. So if I click on here and say, let me add myself to the stream, you're going to see this says you are in the stream with audio only. I actually think this answers a couple questions we had from people asking, and this would allow you to be in the studio, like able to talk over top of people without actually being on screen for them. So I think that's what he's asking.
Yes. And I think I loved how you because I think it could be both things. It could be want to actually talk, have the audience hear you, or want to have a private audio interaction, which as of right now, the only way you can do that is to maybe do a phone call, like you said, and have an earbud in. So yeah. Okay. So
Bruce has a question. Go back to Teams. Bruce says, hey, as a producer, could I use different email addresses as a team member of clients' accounts?
can I use different email addresses as a team member of clients' accounts? So, Bruce, you can have multiple StreamYard accounts if you have different. If you would need different emails, so you could have email, number one and have this account, and then email number two and have this account. If you needed to kind of differentiate anything, but as far as can I use different email addresses as a team member of a client's account? I think what Bruce, I don't know why you would want to do that. Maybe provide some additional context as to why you would need to do that, because you can have your own StreamYard account. You can add a team member to it, but then you can also be added to somebody else's account as well under the same email. You don't have to have a different email to be a part of somebody else's account. Now, if there was something unique about that client and they required that you had one of their emails in a separate account, you certainly could. You could still, again, you can still do that. So, but I'm just not really sure why you would need to do that. So I'm curious to hear what his unique situation is there.
Definitely, yeah, more context would definitely help for that one. Let's see. So, Choan Thacker is asking, is it possible to star or mark the comment, which were already shown on screen? Do me a favor, just go to streamyard.com/contact. Just send us a feature request. I think what you're kind of asking for is something like a pinned comment feature. Just go there, send us a feature request. We'll do our best to see if we can get that rolled out. And
stay tuned. Just stay tuned. So many great things coming. Okay, so let's see here. A lot of questions about music. We're actually just not, we aren't going to be able to address all of your questions that are not related to our feature releases today. So, I've seen it a few times about copying and pasting. We addressed that. Can't do that right now. We're just not going to be able to talk about the music stuff and the audio stuff right now either, because it's just too much of a deep dive. Because I know we have more things we want to share with you.
We still have more. I mean,
there's another huge one, actually. This is probably the biggest one, but there is another huge one that we need to talk about as well. So I definitely want to keep us moving to make sure that we are able to actually get through all of this content and all these great things, because I don't want to miss it. I mean, right? And I mean, my stomach's starting to growl too. But
and maybe what we'll do, Mel, for the questions about music, things like that.
We'll
again, this is the Ask StreamYard show, and we like to take a topic. In this case, we're covering a lot of topics today in one show, but maybe I'll make a note and we'll turn that into another Ask StreamYard episode about music, things like that.
For sure. So Syed wants to know, is this available for all plans? Yes, it is actually. So I think StreamYard, I always say this, they are so generous with how they provide the free plan and even the middle plan, these amazing features. So it is included in all plans, which I'm absolutely shocked by, to be honest with you.
And remember, you get 2 seats for free. So you get you're the owner on one of them, and then you have the ability to have another person that you invite to your team. I also don't know, I don't know if that's going to be around forever. So I would always suggest this. For example, I went ahead and claim your seat, and then you can always remove somebody, you can always add somebody back, but go ahead and claim it. At least you have the 2 seats available, so that, when you do need to use it, you're familiar with how it works. It's not one of those last minute things where you have to figure out how it works. You already know how you can use it. So
for sure. Absolutely. And another, Barbara's coming back in again about that team
Barb.
thing. So we will definitely make sure that we are letting our team know that you all want this. You want this ability to have different teams. So certainly, again, this is release version number 1 of StreamYard Teams. There will definitely be additional releases, and maybe we can incorporate that in there. But go to StreamYard.com/contact, put that request in there so that our development team can see how many of you want this, because a lot of you want it. So I would definitely say go in there and give that a look. So, well, Christian, unless we have any additional I'm looking for any other questions that we need to make sure we really do address in regards to StreamYard Teams, because I also want to keep moving, as I said, and get on to our next feature as well. Pale says, Mel is hungry. Time for a be right back screen and see you at 10. It wouldn't take me 10. I could scarf some food down real fast.
I do want to bring up Bruce's other comment, by the way. He says, hey, I produced multiple shows. We'll do this one, and then we're going to move on to the next feature. I produce multiple shows using their account. When I log in with main email, which client account am I logging into?
I produce multiple shows using their account when I log in with me.
So you're logging into whatever you're logging into the main account as the account owner at that point.
Yeah, so it depends. So this depends. So Bruce, if you are producing shows using their account, then what Bruce is saying is when he's logging in to their account, that is the owner account. That is the owner seat, if you will, that you are logging into. So when you say which client account am I logging into, let's say you have client A and you have client B, and you're producing a show for client A today, and you're logging into their account to produce it for them. Well, that's email number A. That's email A, letter A, whatever. And then now it's time to go produce a show for your other client, client B, and you're logging into their account. Well, you're logging in with their email. So if you're doing it that way, you're logging in as the owner of each of those accounts. With StreamYard Teams, again, if that owner didn't want to do that and give you that they're basically giving you the full keys to their account. And this is why StreamYard Teams is so great, is because a lot of businesses and organizations want to hire a producer like Bruce. But right now, they have to basically give Bruce full access to their entire account, including billing and everything. And so what StreamYard Teams allows us to do is, let's say I'm client number A, letter A, whatever, client A, and I don't want to give Bruce the keys to everything and see my billing and everything else, or, I don't want that. So I can add Bruce as an admin or a co-host into my account. Bruce would be logging in with his own email in his StreamYard account. He's not logging into my account. He is simply just joining my team with his account. So that is the beauty of StreamYard Teams, is it allows, and then Bruce also only has to log in to his account, and client A has added him and client B has added him. And then all Bruce has to do is log in. And if he's added to multiple teams, on that left side of your dashboard, you will see each team that you're a part of. So if you have 3 clients that have added you to their account as a producer, you're logging into your account and you see all of it right there. So that's the other beauty, is that for somebody who's part of multiple teams, you're not having to log into these different accounts. You just log into your account and there it is. So I think that makes way more sense now that he gave us that additional context. So I love that he asked that question, actually, because again, this is definitely one of those beautiful pieces, is that I've had conversations with some people that have their very large followings. They need support. They need to have someone in backstage with them, helping them produce their stream. They have, hundreds and hundreds of people tuning in live, lots of comments, but they don't want to have to give somebody like their login to get into their account. They don't want someone to have that full access. And so with StreamYard Teams, we are able now to have other people come in and assist us with these streams without having to give them that full access. So I do love that as well. So great context there for that one, for sure. So, okay, Christian, I think we should move to the next feature, actually, which I think I know we've had a few comments about it.
See what we got. I think it's what I think it is, right?
Oh yeah, we've had a few comments about it. In fact, we got a comment right here. But the next feature that we want to make sure everybody's aware of, and again, I want to say this too, StreamYard Teams. We could probably talk for 5 hours about StreamYard Teams. We will continue to support you. If we need to keep doing more streams about this and do more live Q&As, we are absolutely going to do that. So we are going to move on to the next feature, but we know that StreamYard Teams is big. We know it's complex. We know there's a lot to it. So please know that we're not trying to abandon you. we got to keep moving because we got like 4 more things to cover, right? Okay.
We
have
quite
a
few
big
things
one.
to
We
cover,
got a big
so,
one coming, another really big one too. So I may have to actually get a snack while you start the next big one. But the next one though is a feature that was announced a while back, and everybody also has this feature in their account. And this is a layout. So this is the picture-in-picture feature, also known as PIP. So picture-in-picture is essentially an additional type of layout that you can have when it comes to, how you're displaying your screen and sharing your screen. So let me show you what this looks like. So I'm just going to actually pull up that StreamYard Teams chart once more. So this was a layout we had before where Christian and I are over here on the other side, the left side of the screen. We're next to our screen, and our screen is like, well, it's kind of hard to read. So then you could go to full screen where it shares your screen share, but only your screen. So now you and your guests, you're no longer on screen with it. The other one we had, which I think is called news, news style, is it lets you have one person on screen and you have your screen share fairly small. And this does pull in your background, so that is definitely the other option there. So, but the new one, the picture-in-picture, is something that's been heavily requested for a long time, allows you to have your screen share go full screen, and then you are also on screen with it. You're just on top of the lower left-hand corner. Yep. So this is the picture-in-picture layout. I will say that it is responsive. So if we wanted to pull up a banner really quickly, we will pop up. As you notice here, Christian and I just moved up because I displayed a banner. And if I display a comment, which I know I saw one, this one right here, it will essentially keep moving us. As you notice, it moved us down because the picture, the banner was lower and the comment's a little taller. So it does move us around. This is called a responsive layout. So the picture-in-picture is dynamic like that. So literally, I like this feature, but again, it's a matter of preference, right? It is a matter of preference where you are, need to decide, does this make sense for you? As of right now, you can see here that because we're on top of it, part of my chart is actually covered up by us, right? And so always keep that in mind. This is really nice if you want to be in there, but you also can always go back to these other layouts just by simply clicking those different layouts in your account. So yeah, so picture-in-picture, I think a lot of people are pretty excited about this. I know a lot of people were asking about this. One of the benefits to the picture-in-picture that I want to point out is when you have this particular style, if we had 4 people on screen, the person at the bottom would actually be behind the banner or comments that get displayed. And so I actually was watching a stream the other day where they were using a screen share to do a timer. They were using like a Google timer, and they were doing you have 30 seconds to answer the question. And the poor host is literally at the bottom of the screen behind all the comments and the banners coming up. And I literally was like, oh my gosh, use the picture-in-picture layout because what's on screen is important, right? It was just a timer they were trying to display. And so I do think it gives us a lot of options. But again, it's a responsive layout. So do we have anything else to share about the picture-in-picture layout? I know that people are probably going to ask. I think I saw Mike make a comment. People are already asking, I know that I've been seeing, is can you actually move where this is on screen?
Yeah, so right now you can't change the positioning. It's all in the lower left-hand corner. The only thing you can do, for example, if I wanted to reposition Mel, for example, I can just drag her, and you can do this on any of the views. You can simply just drag her to whichever position you want, but you can't reposition them freely. However, I am making notes of that so that we can, again, this is version 1 of a view, so we can always add more features to this. Again, we also try to play off of our pillars as well, which is ease of use. So that's a great suggestion. NLTMW, we'll see if we can help with that. So,
and then when it comes to video share, I believe that the video share does work. By the way,
it does. Yeah.
So right now I am actually using video share. So this is a video I just have. It's a short video. I have a clip. I have it on my computer, and as you can see here, it is working with video share. So I think that I want to say that when it first came out, I don't know that video share it did work with, but it does now. It will work.
It does,
so you can use this PIP layout for screen share, but you can also use this layout for video share as well. So is PIP in all brands? Yes, this layout is available. Let me get this down. This layout's available for everybody. This is again out there for all of them. So this is just an additional layout that's been added to the studio. Geeks on Tour likes it. I like it. I'm glad.
By the way, do us a favor. If you are watching, do us a favor. Hit that if you're enjoying what you're seeing, hit that like button, and subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. By the way, if you're watching on YouTube, again, so that you don't miss the future videos that we're doing. I'm hearing a lot of great feedback here from people in the comments. So thanks, Geeks on Tour, for example.
Already used it. It's great. Yes.
Okay, so let's do this. Let's answer. So we answered LTMW's question here.
I just want to make sure. So Creative Girl of Color, it is available for video share as well. So it is available for screen share and video share. So I just want to make sure everybody knows that. Again, I'm not sure that, I think maybe, because I've seen that before, that people said, oh, it doesn't work with video share, but it does now. I just tested it. Yep.
Let's see. So another question, I think, from Creative Girl of Color. Hey, question about the PIP. Why is it only for screen sharing? That doesn't really help people that do tutorials of having to bring in another screen. So I don't know if that's I don't know if that's a camera limitation, because you have to remember your camera typically can only be accessed, like for example, Google Chrome only knows to let you access one camera. So they make you swap out the camera each time. And so it could be a limitation of, again, going back to the API thing that we've talked about earlier. It very well could be that, but I will make a note that, if you want to do a demo or something like that, and you want to have multiple cameras, you may need to, we may see if we can add additional camera sources. Let's see. So we've talked about Bernie's question about, can you move the PIP to different parts of the screen? So at the moment you can't.
Oops. Sorry about that.
You can't move the PIP to different locations. It's just in the lower left-hand corner. And as you add people, they get added along the bottom.
Richard has a question. Can you only show one person and not both? You can. So this is what you'd want to do. So let me just add again, that just what I had up on my screen. I should have put something more interesting up over there. But this is essentially, this is what it looks like. Now, if I wanted Christian to not be on screen with this, there's a few ways I can do it. I can either remove him from the stream, which is also going to remove his audio. Okay, so keep that in mind. So I can simply just push him down backstage, right? Now, he just pushed himself down backstage. So the other option you can have, Christian, come on back up, would be to ensure, again, if you have audio avatars turned off, okay, then Christian can simply stop his camera. So Christian, stop your camera.
Okay, got it.
And now Christian is actually, he can still talk. So Christian, say something.
Hello. Hey, how's everyone doing? How are you enjoying all of the new StreamYard features?
There you go. So because audio avatars was off, he is actually able to go away, but he controls that. So he stops his own camera with that. So I can't control, you can only control your own camera. So that's definitely something to keep in mind as well when it comes to that. So Christian is back. Now, if we had audio avatars on, he would still be there with the audio avatar. So if you just want one person on screen, you can either remove the other people from the stream and then bring them back up, which is going to remove their audio. Or you can disable audio avatars and then they just turn their camera off and then their audio is still there. So that would be the way that you would have one person shown with picture-in-picture as of right now, as of the way that these layouts work at this time. So great question, though.
Let's see. So, and by the way, if you have any questions, again, just put a Q in front of it so that we can make sure we can easily find those.
Let's see. I'm looking for some more questions regarding our PIP and stuff like that. So, video share. Is it possible to pick up and share a previous stream from the video library? That is a great option that I love. So, Piccola Falco, I would definitely submit that. If you want to go to StreamYard.com/contact, you will see a place where you can submit a feature request. I think this is a great idea. What they're referring to is, the video share. So if you go down and the bottom and you say, I want to share something, before it was just share your screen, but now you can share video files that are on your computer. This is a great option. Maybe another option would be, a third option is share a video from the video library. So that's certainly a great idea, a feature request that could be considered. But as of right now, that's not a feature.
Let's see. So let's see. I don't think we have any other questions about the PIP feature, actually. Well, those, by the way, if you do have questions, we do have a video as well that that I put there in the chat for you. Just go and check that out, and then you can leave your questions, comments, and whatnot there as well on that video. And that's using picture-in-picture inside of StreamYard.
Yeah. So Creative Girl of Color is it's coming back to provide more information in regards to that feature she was talking about. She said, that's not what I mean. If I bring 2 different screens in to do a tutorial, I can't use Pip. I don't know how you can't bring 2 screens in right now. Can you?
Well, so a couple things you can do is like you could have additional devices. Like you could have one device, for example, sharing a certain thing. For example, one device could be sharing a presentation and it comes up backstage in the bottom strip there. That's one way. That would also potentially give you additional camera angles as well. If you wanted to do that, you could have that camera angle set to your StreamYard, like set inside of that StreamYard dashboard, and then bring that person in. You could try that. Another thing a lot of people do for like multiple cameras, like they'll have, you know, some, like, for example, I know Melanie, like, will use like the Stream Deck, for example, to make some adjustments with some additional software we're using it with, obviously.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But if Creative Girl of Color, if there is something that you want to see that's different, again, go back, submit that feature request. The development team is always gathering that information and always looking at those things. And the more things are requested by more users, they are absolutely reading those. They love hearing your guys' ideas. So if there's a specific thing that you're talking about, then absolutely you can submit that feature request for sure. So sounds like what she's trying to do, she is limited with what she's trying to do there. So I just want to make sure. So yeah.
And that is another thing where like you also may want to like, you know, consider also expanding like the type of hardware you use as well. For example, you know, if you're using like an ATEM Mini or things like that, they have the ability to have multiple cameras connected to that device. So what a lot of people do is they will run those camera feeds into there, and then that way they're able to do the switching and things like that they need to. Again, because it has 4 sources. So
yeah, for sure. We've got a few people that took lunch breaks. I'm jealous, and are coming back. And so, yes, we are still going. We actually have a few more features to cover. We just talked about the picture-in-picture. Yeah. Okay. So Bernie wants he's like, come on, what's the next one? I don't want to miss it. What's the next one? I mean, I think we could probably move forward. Don't you think? You want to,
I think so. Yeah.
You want to move over? So real fast, Jeff says, why can't we label videos that are uploaded? You can. You absolutely can change the name of all your assets you upload now. So you just click on those 3 dots and it's going to let you rename them. I actually just did that today for our videos that we're playing for our fun little, you know, splash screens, if you will. So, okay. So Christian, the next one's a big one. It's big. And I'm going to rely on you because you've had more time to play around with this. I haven't had time to tinker. So everybody, are you ready for the next big feature? Because it is another doozy. It's a doozy. It's a big one. So
this one is, yes.
It's been asked for over a year. It's been being worked on for over a year, and it is now ready. And that is HotKeys. So HotKeys are now available in your account. This is absolutely incredible, but I would definitely consider this a semi-advanced feature. Now, it's not necessarily advanced if you use the hotkeys as they're defaulted and you're just using your keyboard. You have to certainly remember these shortcuts. But when it comes, what this means, and I know many people are going to want to know, is does that mean that it integrates with Stream Deck? Yes, you can now use the Stream Deck to make changes, to control the screen, and to do certain things with your StreamYard Studio. So this is definitely a big thing that lots of people have asked for. I know that I have a Stream Deck, you have a Stream Deck, and so now you can use that Stream Deck to have some more controls for your stream. So Christian, I'm going to let you kind of take this one away and talk about this because I mean, seriously, I mean, I have not had the time yet to tinker and to play around with this. But what a hotkey is, just so that I guess I'll say this and I'll let you take it from here.
Yeah,
is,
sure.
Think of the hotkey as a shortcut. It is a keyboard shortcut. So like on a PC, when you say Control C, it's copying the text. And then when you say Control V, it is pasting the text. That's a shortcut. That's essentially like a hotkey. And so these are what they are. So let's dive in. Let's do this.
Sure. So let's see. Did we show the video?
No.
Okay, let's do that first.
Do we have a video? We don't have a video.
I'm not sure.
We don't have a video.
Okay.
We had this one, this cute one right here. Little floating one.
Okay.
That's all we had.
Not a big deal. Let me go into the studio then. Let's demo how these work.
Okay.
Let's talk about then, once we're done with that, let's go into like we'll do the Stream Deck portion after it, only because again, it's something that like the Stream Deck is, I'd say the Stream Deck is the companion. You don't need the Stream Deck to use HotKeys. HotKeys is available across all StreamYard accounts. So let me pull my screen up here, Mel, and we'll just walk through how to use HotKeys. Let's see. Do I have the right one? Perfect. Okay. So let's use the picture-in-picture feature. Okay. So this is the new HotKeys layout here. Let me actually get that. Does that work? Let me know if you want something different.
Here, I'll put you in the far corner so you have a little bit more.
Awesome.
room
Okay.
there.
So hotkeys, basically what they're going to do, and you can start to see some of these in your StreamYard Studio. So as you're like hovering over a lot of the views, things like that, you're going to start to see there are some keyboard shortcuts that are there. For example, if I want to switch to the spotlight layout, I can just hit Shift and 4 on this studio, for example, and change the view to things. But basically, let's talk about how you set these up. So we've gone into a broadcast on StreamYard. We're now going over to the settings menu on the bottom right-hand corner here. And then when we click into settings, we're going to now see hotkeys here at the bottom. And now when we click into hotkeys, you're going to see this. You're going to see a lot of controls. Basically, these are all keyboard shortcuts to make it easier for you to access certain parts of your studio that you need to access. You may use some of these, you may not use, all of them. It really depends on, how complicated your stream is. And so, for example, just kind of running through the different options. So you have the ability to mute and unmute using a hotkey, the ability to turn your camera on and off. You have screen sharing. You have the ability. So screen sharing would pull up the box to be able to pick which screen you want to share. By the way, I think Mel went and got a snack.
Nope, I'm still here.
Okay,
I thought about it.
You've got the share video option. So if you want to share a video file, instead of having to do multiple clicks, it's one hotkey that or key combination, and that will then pop up the share video option to pick it from your hard drive. You have the ability to go live, to end a broadcast. You have the ability to switch between the different layouts, the different views that you have, such as solo layout, the cropped layout, the group layout, the spotlight layout, the news layout, screen layout, picture-in-picture layout, cinema layout. There's also the ability, if you want to move between the layouts. So instead of having to take your mouse and hover over, the layout and click on it, or jump to just a specific one, you can use the next layout, for example, to move to that next layout automatically. And then to trigger it, you can hit, I think it's the enter key or the space bar. I think it's enter actually, to trigger the layout that you've selected. In terms of navigation, you have the ability to quickly switch between the comments tab, the banners tab, the brands tab, the private chat, the settings menu. You can also use as I mentioned, the next and the previous tab for things, and then also the ability to enter or exit full screen. Okay, so that's in a nutshell all of the hotkeys that you can customize right now. And this is, by the way, this is version 1. Just keep this in mind.
Yes.
And so basically the way these would work, you'd go into settings, they're already enabled on your account. You just have to go in and, for example, set whatever the key is. So for example, if I want this to be, if I wanted to set the mute key, I'm going to hit like Shift M, and I'm going to go ahead and set the key. Same thing for camera on and off. I'm going to set it to like Shift C, for example. And then when I exit out of here, when I push the key combination of Shift C, as you can see there, you'll see in the bottom, you're going to see in the bottom left there, my camera feed went on and off. Remember, I'm in a separate studio as well that this is being worked on from. So basically that's how the hotkeys are going to work. So Mel, let me know when you want to come back on.
Oh, I'm here. I mean,
Okay.
Everybody is super stoked about hotkeys. This has definitely been a huge thing. So it's funny because like StreamYard Teams is huge, but I mean, depending on you and what you want, hotkeys could be a bigger deal to you. So here's the thing. You don't have to have a Stream Deck to use these hotkeys, right? So Christian definitely went through the keyboard shortcuts. Some people say, well, what's the benefit of this, right? Like, what do I need this? I can just click with a mouse. Well, one of the things that is, one of the interesting things is, when you're in the studio, you're in comments. Like right now I'm seeing your comments, but if I quickly wanted to just toggle over to, the banners or the brand so I could click on a video or, pop up a banner, there's something about not having to look down to see my mouse, to then move my mouse around, looking over. It can actually feel cumbersome, right? And people have said this in the past, like, oh, I hate having to do that. With a hotkey, you can actually just, if you know the keystroke, it's right there in front of you on your keyboard. Or if you have a Stream Deck, then it's just a button. Boom. You don't even, like, you can literally, like, if you look at me, literally you're looking into the camera, hopefully. But when I have to look over, I have to find my mouse first. I have to look down to see it. Then I got to look around. It's clunky. I'm not looking at the camera anymore. But if I'm looking at you and I just go like this, look down at my Stream Deck, I can see my Stream Deck. I know the button. Boom, I push it. So this is definitely going to be awesome for people who want to be able to have a little bit more of that, the production element and doing some certain things. But I love that you can change the views. It's great, especially when you have multiple people on screen with you. So yes, while it is super easy to do most of these things right inside the StreamYard studio, it's also awesome to have this option of using these hotkeys and also customizing them like Christian showed us. So great demo, by the way. This is what I'll say about hotkeys. I think that it's something for you to play with and to start using. Also know that our support team is ready. We definitely want to help everyone use this. Again, this is also another feature that is a bit more, I don't know, like there's some variables to it. And so we are working on creating content. I know, Christian, you're working on some awesome videos that are going to be all about hotkeys and integrating with the Stream Deck and all the things. So we are working on content to support everybody so that you can use this new feature and actually get a lot of benefits from it. So it's huge. So we have some questions. So Christian, are you ready to tackle these questions? So
let's do it.
Richard says, if I have a hotkey Shift A and tell the other person to go to Shift A, his Shift A and mine are for different things, this could cause a big problem. I don't know that would happen, would it? Because if the hotkeys are probably custom to the user and to the account. Now, if you are both logged into the same account, this could be a problem. So that could be a limitation there. But again, StreamYard Teams, the whole goal of StreamYard Teams is to eliminate multiple people being logged into the same account. So that could be a problem. But I would think that for example, my Stream Deck is custom to me. My Stream Deck, I'm controlling my computer. So these hotkeys are housed. The shortcuts are essentially housed from you and in your account. So if you're logged into the same account, the hotkeys for that account are going to be, there's one set of hotkeys. So you're right, they may potentially be broken. They wouldn't work correctly. So it's all going to come down to that mapping. But it is a thing. So I would say don't be logged into the same account for sure, right?
And I'm making notes, by the way. So these are good questions. By the way, if you do have questions, again, put a Q in front of it to make it easier for us to find.
So Kyle says, if we could assign hotkeys to certain assets and to add people to the broadcast, I'd never need a mouse again.
That's
yes,
awesome.
and as Christian said, I know that Dyann and Gage have reiterated to us that this is release number 1. This is version number 1 of hotkeys. So there are certainly, again, use the hotkeys, provide your feedback, provide the ideas that you have for other ways that you want to see hotkeys incorporated, other things you want to see, maybe some pre-built profiles to help you do what you want to do. Let us know about those things. The team wants to know. So this is, again, version number 1. So go out and play with it and then give us your feedback, right? That's the whole goal here, and that's certainly what we want. Antiques from Karen says, is there one to flip back and front camera? Back and front camera. So
I think she's on a mobile device, maybe?
Right, which hotkeys won't work on the mobile devices, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
so
you don't have hotkeys on. I'm 99% certain you don't have them on the mobile device. And then, again, it's only the ones that are listed under the settings menu. So if you go on here, let me just pull this back up. So if you go on the settings menu on the right here, get back to that. So if you go to this settings menu over here on the right and go to hotkeys, it's only the ones that are listed here for right now.
Okay. Yeah.
So that could be a good feature request actually to submit for for us to add at some point to see if there is an option to have hotkeys to be able to flip a camera, for example.
Cool. Okay. So speaking of the camera thing, because I know it's going to come up, I believe that with hotkeys, I think people are also thinking ahead about camera switching because, for example, when I stream on my channel, I use OBS Virtual Camera. And
so bring the camera in,
Yes. And so I use that so that I can have multiple cameras. So I have different scenes set up in OBS. I am able to click a button and to switch those cameras because the button I'm using is controlling OBS. So I know a lot of people are using their Stream Decks that way right now. So I know that it's possible that people are going to be coming and saying, will this allow me to switch? Because, you can change your camera by going down, selecting cam mic, changing the camera to a different camera. That is certainly a possibility. I literally had that demo video in here and I took it out this morning. But so you can change your cameras midstream, but it is a little clunky. Like you have to go down, switch the camera in your input and come back. I know it's going to come up. Is it possible to toggle the webcam with a hotkey? As of right now, that hotkey doesn't exist, right, Christian?
To turn off the webcam, let's see.
Not to turn off, to change it, to toggle
to change,
it.
no, yeah. So
Yeah,
right now,
not-
So if
yeah.
I hit like, for example, mine's set to Shift C. If I do it right now, I'm going to go off screen because I am set as, we have audio avatars off as well. So that will take me off screen. I can still talk. I can bring myself back using a hotkey, for example.
Right. And that's simply turning on and off. But I know people are going to want to know, can I toggle the webcam? So can I go from my Brio to my Logitech 920?
Right. Yeah.
As of right now, in this version, in this release, there's not a hotkey to change the webcam. It certainly could be in development. It certainly could be an option moving forward. I believe the functionality is a possibility. So again, I know that might be something you guys are all thinking about. It's not currently available at this time. As of right now.
And it would also be contingent on, and I don't know, like if Google API, if their API, for example, allows access to the multiple, to be able to access the camera with the hotkey. But, that is possibly something. Other thing I'd also recommend, or, what was that comment, Mel?
No, I was just saying that Not Slim says, I've been begging for this rollout of this feature for a long time. And I know that Mike from Never Let the Machines Win said he's been asking for this for 2 years. So I know people are super excited about this. And Jennifer was one of the winners of our Stream Deck. We did a little giveaway, about a year ago. And she actually won that Stream Deck from StreamYard. And so now she's excited to get to use it. So we've got some cool things. We definitely have some questions here as well. This isn't necessarily related to hotkeys, but can I lock a lower third on screen? You can't lock anything on screen. So I think what we're talking about here is if we are in picture, things move around and pop up. The comments are locked. The banners are locked. They don't float. They're not responsive. And if you do an overlay, that is a locked item. It's not responsive is what I'm getting at. So we showed you that picture layout and you notice how Christian and I kind of moved up depending on what was on screen. That's called responsive. But comments, banners, and overlays and videos and the logo up above Christian, those are not responsive. So those are going to be locked at all times, no matter what.
Let's see. So Not Slim One says, hey, their Stream Deck's already set up. We'll get to the Stream Deck here in a few minutes. In the meantime, by the way, if you are using a Stream Deck, do us a favor, type the word Stream Deck in the comments if you have one.
Yeah, sweet.
Let's see. So
people are stoked about it. I'm so excited that y'all are excited. This is fun. I'm excited that everybody loves this because, again, this has been talked about so much and the team has worked so hard to make this happen. So I am definitely excited that you all are excited as well because this has been a big one coming for a long time.
So I want to bring up El Show de Favilla Maravilla. So they said, for those of you who can't spend on Elgato Stream Deck, we can get a cheap USB numeric keypad to do the trick for hotkeys. That is one option. There are actually other options because going back to what Melanie was saying here, hotkeys are literally just keyboard shortcuts.
Yep.
So, if you've done Control C, Control V, you're used to doing that for copy and paste. You literally just set up, what you want that key command to be inside of StreamYard to control those functions within your StreamYard. For example, if it's like you want to switch between view number 1 and the picture-in-picture one, you just set up a keyboard shortcut for that in your StreamYard dashboard under settings. There are other devices, by the way, as well, besides the Stream Deck. You can also check out like the Loop Deck. There's also Touch Portal as well. Those are, again, it's anything that you can assign a keyboard combination to. That's all it literally is. And all the Stream Deck is just a physical button. So just kind of keep that in mind. But we'll get to the Stream Deck in a second.
Yeah, and I like that you said that because, there are lots of options. There's going to continue to be more options hitting the market. The Stream Deck is just one of them that's probably the most popular. But that Loop Deck one that you mentioned is essentially taking a Stream Deck and combining it with kind of like an XLR. So it's an audio and it's definitely one that's also getting
virtually the same thing.
Yeah, so this will work with any device that is able to use hotkeys. So whether it be a keyboard or a device like a Stream Deck or a Loop Deck. So, and you can customize most of it. So for sure. So,
Antiques from Karen here again, she's saying, hey, hotkeys won't be an advantage when streaming from a mobile that's moving though. So that is one thing, like you do have to also remember a lot of people when they're streaming from a laptop they're streaming from a studio. And so they, like, if you're a producer, for example, a lot of people have all this stuff set up so that it makes it easy for them to do that run of show that they've created for their live streams. So they got that run of show. They know, for example, if it's Mel and I, and we're like, hey, you know what? We know that we're going to go to this view, for example. Sorry, Mel, for going. So again, it's part of the run of show. And so it makes it easier for you to quickly access it versus, again, like if you're on a mobile device, it's harder to do a lot of that stuff from a mobile device because it's a smaller screen. So,
right.
And
just in general, the limitations of a mobile device. It doesn't have a keyboard. I don't know how hotkeys would work with a mobile device. So, granted, a tablet's going to have a keyboard, but again, the functionality and the way those things are built, it is just different. So it is beautiful and amazing how easy it is to use a mobile device and still use many of the features of StreamYard, including displaying comments, displaying banners, overlays, any of those things you have loaded into your studio. You cannot share a screen because there's really no screen to share. I mean, it's just a limitation of the devices and how they're built. And yes, hotkeys won't work with mobile devices, and I can't imagine that it ever will. So again, it's awesome that you can literally stream from the mobile device. But if the other option is to use a computer and use your phone as a webcam. So you can still, again, I know that some people are just limited with the hardware and the things that they have. And if you are doing a mobile stream where you're like walking through the park, you're probably not going to be carrying around a laptop with you when you're walking through the park streaming. So again, you just have to kind of look at that as you're able to do a certain type of show, but there are going to be some limitations with that as well. But so, of course, it's certainly, we wish it would be so cool if there could be a way to do it. But just as of right now, the technology just isn't there. So
I will say this one thing that they can try is, so you can connect a Bluetooth keyboard to a mobile device. And they do have certain functions that work within the operating system on the mobile device. I haven't tried it.
That's a possibility.
But you may be able to do that.
That's a hack if I ever heard one. I like it.
So I'm not sure, not promising anything on that, but it's very possible.
I'm trying to think about like holding my mobile device.
So for example, there's a lot of people that if they don't have a laptop, for example, and they're streaming from like a tablet or a mobile phone, I can connect this keyboard directly to my laptop via Bluetooth. And then what I do on here, the keyboard commands I push, they actually do translate on some mobile devices.
Yeah. Okay. It's interesting.
We'll test it out. We'll see.
Definitely, we need to test that one. That's an idea. So Pure
Thanks for bringing
Adrenaline Fantasy Sports says, can some hotkeys be used through a Stream Deck and some through a keyboard, or is it one or the other?
That is an excellent question, and the answer is you can use both.
Yes.
So
I love it.
So let's see. I'm going to do this right now. So let's see. Let me just figure out what key combination I wanted. So I'm going to hit Shift C. So that's my camera. I'm going to, I can't not have my hands up, I guess, but I'm going to do Shift C, and that's on the keyboard. So that turns my camera off. However, I also have the same keyboard command. Let me find the right one. Yep. So I have the button on my Stream Deck, and I'm pushing the button there as well. So basically, you can, if you're like a magic wizard and you can do both things at once there, you can use the Stream Deck and the keyboard combinations at the same time. So it's not based off of, again, just think of it like this. And the Stream Deck is literally just buttons that have a keyboard combination assigned to them. So just how you have, I don't know how many keys are on a keyboard, but just how you have all of these keys on this keyboard, right? You have all of these, and then you get all of these as well that are built into.
My God, that sounds like an explosion on your desk.
Sorry, I hit the mic.
It's okay.
So you basically can do this. You can use both of them at once.
Mm-hmm. You can also use multiple Stream Decks at once.
Yes,
Am I not?
sorry about that.
Yeah, you can do that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not Slim. I don't think that StreamYard is available for dating or marriage, but if you could marry an application, StreamYard would be a great option for sure. So, more love for StreamYard from El Show de Fravia Maravilla. I think I said that correctly. I may have butchered it slightly, but yes. Okay, so let's keep moving. Let's get to some more comments and questions here.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's see. Yeah. So Creative Girl of Color says it's a game changer because if you're doing your own show, you can toggle between different things. Yeah. The toggling is definitely, I think, going to be very, very great. And Creative Girl of Color mentioned OBS earlier. So she's probably all over this. She's got the hotkeys set up on her the way she was controlling OBS possibly. So Creative Girl of Color, I would love for you to reach out to us and let us know how you're going to be using this. And again, make sure you submit that other feature request about the pip with the other screens that you were using too. So, okay, let me see here.
Hey, Mel, do me a favor. Go check our private chat.
Oh yes, I'll do that. What about our global hotkeys? What I wonder what they mean by that. I don't know. Global hotkeys. Do you?
I wonder if they're thinking global hotkeys, like, for example, you could have global hotkeys across your computer. I know that you could. I think you could actually program some of that into that as well.
Okay.
So.
All right. Yes, Christian, I got you. So,
Cool. Give me a
all
second.
right, let me see what we got here. You know what's funny? So everybody knows, I literally was texting my boyfriend and he was asking me, I knew he was going to be reaching out. And I said, I'm starving. He said, do you need me to grab or make you a sandwich? So I said, that would be kind of amazing. So I don't know. You guys might see a sandwich being delivered to me from right behind me. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But let me keep going here. So David has a question. When can live screen recorder in StreamYard for Android app and why only in browser PC? Okay, live screen recorder, Android app, and why only in browser PC? David, I'm pretty sure that you're talking about using StreamYard to do a shared screen and recording that. You should be able to do that on a PC or a Mac. As far as a Android device, that is not supported. It is also neither supported on an iOS device. So an Android device is actually, you can't share your screen. So that is currently a limitation with the way that those devices are built and the way that we talked about that earlier. But you also can't do that on an iOS device either. You have to use a computer. So whether it's a PC or whether it's a Mac, so to share a screen. So I don't know that feature will change. That is definitely one of those, just one of those general limitations. So I'm looking here. So yeah, so Not Slim is definitely all about the hotkeys here. Don't forget that you can get global hotkeys set up so that you can be a completely different window or application and still be able to control StreamYard while unfocused. That I have so much to learn about hotkeys. I have my Stream Deck, and I actually just figured out how to do like multifunction, keys where you can set up different actions that happen on the Stream Deck. I mean, I've only scratched the surface on mine. I know that there's a lot to be done there. Still Nick's fan says, what type of cameras are you guys using and have such incredible picture quality? So Christian and I both are using Sony cameras. He's using an A6400. I'm using an A6100. We are both using a, not a Sony lens. It's a Sigma lens that has a very low aperture, which is why our backgrounds are semi-blurred. And so you have to have a capture card if you want to use a DSLR camera as a webcam on a computer. So that's what we're using though. So we got that question earlier. So pretty kind of funny. Let me see here. Let me keep going. So Mike says, in my testing, hotkeys are individual/local. So the co-host local set of hotkeys worked even if the host used different hotkeys. Mike, thank you for chiming in. That was regarding a comment we had earlier where someone was concerned that if they had Shift A being one action and their co-host was using Shift A to do something else, would it interfere? He said that in his testing of it, it was local. So as we speculated that it would not be a problem, Mike is basically saying it's not a problem. So thank you for chiming in about that as well. Christian, what do you know about Stream Deck profiles? You said, are you ready to talk about the Stream Deck? You want to talk about that?
Yeah. Did we get all the questions?
I'm moving through and we have a question. It says, how do you integrate hotkeys with Stream Deck? So what better time than now, right?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's see. I'm trying to think of how we can demo or talk about this.
I know you were kind of doing it before our stream and my brain was doing this and my eyeballs were going all over the place and whatnot.
I don't know if, so I think the one thing is I don't know if this actually will share. I don't know if you can see all the stuff that I click on, but I'll do my best to talk about this.
Sure.
Let's do this view.
Let me, I'm going to remove, do you think I should remove that comment? Because I think it's going to be below.
Yep,
So we're talking about the Stream Deck. I can take care of this. So I'm going to take this comment down.
Sure.
But we are talking about the Stream Deck right now. So let me make a banner for that.
Awesome. So, okay. So we talked about how, like, what hotkeys are. Hotkeys are obviously just a keyboard combination. So for example, as you're used to Control C or Control V for copying and pasting, you can set up different actions for StreamYard within your StreamYard account. You simply go to the settings menu and you're going to have a hotkeys option. Okay. 1 second, Mel said she'd be right back. Okay, so I'm going to talk while Mel's gone here, and then when she comes back, we'll keep going through. We got a few more features, by the way. So so basically, you make these keyboard combinations, okay, inside of your StreamYard account. So for example, for my account, I did Shift M and Shift C for mute and unmute, and the ability to turn the camera on and off. Now you can take this another level, and you can assign these to a key in your StreamYard, inside of a Stream Deck. So if you have a Stream Deck, for example, this is a profile that we have set up. I have multiple profiles set up. And so for example, like, yeah, you can't see all these. You can just see the fact that I'm in the StreamYard one. But if you click, for example, on my Stream Deck, I can click the second dropdown and I can create a new profile here. So in this case, I'm going to just get rid of this just for now. This is just the standard one. But basically, like, for example, if I wanted to have a key combination, I wanted to make it do something. So what I would do is, let's say it was to mute and unmute my audio. So I'm going to look up over here on the side. Let me just find the right one here. Actually, there's a certain key combination. So let's see, I think it's this one. Let's see. Nope, not that one. 1 second. I gotta remember the name of this, but let me find it. Okay, so hotkey. Okay,
I'm back.
So as you can see,
Just
I've got hotkey. So let's say I have, like, so what we will do is we will actually have a profile we will release to everyone where you can basically just double click the file that we give you, and you'll have the ability to, like, add, for example, all of, let's see, that one. You'll have the ability to, not that one. Let me find the right one, actually. Let's see. Nope, not that one. Did I delete it? Actually, let me see. There we go. Okay.
There you go.
So you'll have the ability to, like, just have one file. You click on it, and it will add all of this stuff. And then what we'll want to do is we basically want to map what is in our StreamYard account under settings and then under hotkeys to these buttons. So for example, like, I'll click on one of these and let's see if it actually shows this. So let's say it's the start and stop cam. Okay. So Mel, let me do this. Let me remove you out of the stream so you can still talk. So I think, Melanie, I think you're still there, right? You're gonna stop your camera. Do me a favor.
Yeah,
stop your camera.
that's what I got to do.
Sorry.
Yep. There we go.
Okay.
Now I'm here.
So let's say we want to connect up this stop camera button, okay, inside of our Stream Deck. What we basically do is, what I've essentially done here is I've gone in, I've added essentially this one called hotkey over to the side here. And then I've just added, like, a graphical, like, look to it. So I'm giving it a title of camera. And then I have set a keyboard combination. Now, in this case, if I know inside of StreamYard, I have used Shift C, I'm just going to simply click Shift and then hit C. And then as you can see there, that's what that button is going to control. So the stop cam option. So now when I go into StreamYard and I hit the stop cam button on my Stream Deck, it's going to stop my camera. Does that make sense? So setting this up from scratch, let's just say, so these are obviously open boxes. Let's say I want to set this one up. So I'm going to simply do this. I'm inside of Stream Deck. I'm going to download, I'm going to click the hotkey option. I'm just going to drag it. Let's just say we wanted to have this. Let's just say I want to say, I'm going to do the same start stop camera. And then I'm just going to click here and I'm going to hit, for example, Shift C. And now that would actually be a start stop cam. As you can see there, the text might be a little bit too long. So that's why I might say something like camera. And so now this button, for example, I can push that one inside of StreamYard. And it's going to start and stop my camera.
Nice.
So, and again, you can drag these around, like you can move them wherever you want them. So one thing I kind of want to talk about real quick with the way I work is, so what I've done is I have one particular folder on the previous screen. So if I got to remember, I got to click the actual Stream Deck and not the software.
Right.
So if I go back, for example, to my my Stream Deck, you'll see that I have like various like buttons and things on here. So for example, if you see me commenting on YouTube, I've got a button over here just for that, you know, I can quickly click and add certain text, things like that. However, I've also set up a key for just all of these StreamYard hotkeys. And so now the benefit here is that, you know, this is the profile that I'm going to always use when I'm inside of StreamYard. And so now when I'm in StreamYard and I want to hit any of these buttons, for example, Melanie, I'm going to bring you, let's start your camera back.
Okay. Coming back. I'm coming. There we are. I'm back.
So I'm going to do that. And I'm going to just go back to our 2-shot here. But now if I want to quickly switch between these and I want to change the view, I could just simply click on the view that I've set up inside of the Stream Deck. So in this case, like there's the news view, you know, for example, there's the cinema view, there's the picture-in-picture view, and then we could say, hey, that's full screen. So as you can see, you can quickly switch between all these different layouts. This is why, like, for example, it's not just naming them right, but it's also having a picture that represents what that button is about is going to be super helpful for you.
Okay.
Okay.
And speaking of, so Zori had asked, is hotkeys is not rolled out to everyone yet. Is that correct? So Zori, I do believe everyone should have hotkeys along with Teams, along with picture-in-picture, video library. Here's what, if you're not seeing this, then log out of your account and log back into your account. And where you access hotkeys is you actually have to go, you have to enter a broadcast, like you have to enter the studio. And then go out to the gear on the right-hand side where it says settings, click on that, and then you will see hotkeys as one of your menu options now in those settings right there. So definitely check that out. See if you have it. If you don't see it, then log out, log back in. And definitely, if you're still not seeing it at that point, then send an email to support@streamyard.com.
And
so
when you do this, I'll show
Mm-hmm.
her real quick how she accesses this. So this is this is if you just logged into your StreamYard account.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go in, let's just say I'm going to go into this demo broadcast. I'm going to simply just click on enter broadcast. And then now once I've done this, I'm going to mute this mic, stop that camera. I'm going to go over to this settings menu on the right-hand side.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go to this one. So I have to go inside of the broadcast to set this up. I then get the hotkeys option here. So here, I'll show you the menu. So we've got settings. We're going to go all the way down to hotkeys. And then now this is where I can choose which, I can set the keyboard combination that I want StreamYard to use when I'm on the StreamYard window. So that's another thing to keep in mind, by the way. If you've got Google Chrome open and you happen to have, let's say you have Slack open and you're in Slack and the window is active, meaning you've clicked into the window and you're hitting the hotkey for like StreamYard, it's not going to work. You have to be in the actual application, i.e. in Google Chrome, for that to work. The other thing you can also do, by the way, with this, if you ever want to just restore the defaults, there's a default option here at the bottom. And then if you want to actually remove a hotkey, for example, we could simply just click the X here as well and remove that. So does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
And let's talk about Stream Deck profiles.
Yeah.
Because I know that Stream Deck, so for example, I have the Elgato Wavelink application and the Elgato Wave 3 microphone because of that. And I was able to just be like, add the Wavelink profile, add the OBS profile. So Stream Deck built a profile for, or StreamYard built a profile for the Stream Deck. I believe it is available. I think someone mentioned it here, but do you know how they can get access to that profile that automatically kind of sets these up, if you will?
I think we just need to add it to our article, actually.
Yeah, I think there is a file available. In fact,
Let me see if
so
I can get
people
it
are
while we're
asking
talking,
about the
actually.
profile. And we may have provided it to some of our beta testers because I saw that Not Slim one said the profile is already available for download. So yeah, so I know that there's a profile out there. In fact, somebody else even talked about using that profile. And funny, Christian, when you and I were or messing around for my own, the two functions that I was like, oh, it didn't work. So again, this is new. So there could be a thing that's offered to. He said I found some errors for mute and camera on off. I was like, that's what I was trying to get to work. Remember?
And it comes down to this. So it's a two-step process. The first one is go inside your StreamYard account under settings, under hotkeys, and you set up whatever the ones you want first. Okay. Then we take the physical Stream Deck, for example. I'm going to try not to hit my microphone this time, Melanie.
Yeah, no problem.
So we take the we take the Stream Deck, for example, and then what we basically are doing is we are binding whatever key commands you have inside of your StreamYard dashboard to these buttons on the Stream Deck that are done in the Stream Deck software itself. So you would add those, and then at that point, when you're inside of StreamYard, like right now, I can now, since they're already set up as buttons, I can hit whatever buttons that are there and switch between different views and make adjustments and whatnot as we're kind of going along. One thing to mention, if you do happen to like push a button and you're like, well, hey, it doesn't work. For example, sometimes the first thing I would say is check your mapping inside of your StreamYard account. So make sure that like you have the right key combination. If you have mute, make sure it's the same one in your StreamYard account that it is in the Stream Deck. The easiest thing to do is simply just to like re-add it. It's not that complicated. Like takes like 5 minutes.
Well, we also discovered that it may require you to also refresh StreamYard. So when I added one of mine, all I had to do was refresh my browser really fast, and then it worked. So there may be a couple of steps here. I did just put a link in the comments. So if you're on our Facebook page, and if you're watching on YouTube, you will see this comment that I just posted. It does have a link to a post that is up in our Facebook group. So another great reason to join that community that Julie Riley posted, where she's linking to the support article, but also to a Google Drive folder where you can download the icons. So I saw that someone had asked about the icons. You can download those icons from there that we've created, and you were using those icons, if I'm not mistaken.
I think
and
so,
then I even saw where Dean Nimmin in our Facebook community
or Nick,
also,
I think, right?
I think it was Nick.
Nick.
It was Nick. He also shared some icons that he and his team created as well. So one of the things that's cool about Stream Deck, the Stream Deck, is that you can customize those icons, those buttons that show up on your device, and you can use Canva to design those. I actually have some animated ones I made, so I actually did some GIF ones, and they're super fun. When you look down at your Stream Deck, you've got these like little animated buttons. So you can definitely have a lot of fun with it, but it can be time consuming. And so StreamYard did have some icons pre-developed for y'all so that you have those as well. So I just put that link in the comments. Again, if you're on YouTube or on our Facebook page, you will see that, and you can follow that link to join our Facebook community if you're not already, and it will take you right to Julie's post that has that information. So
one other thing I want to mention real quick about the way I set my Stream Deck up, and it's this. So Melanie, you and I were kind of talking about this earlier. And so you'll see, like, for example, if you've got like the 16 buttons or 15 button Stream Deck, you may not have the ability to have all of these on the same screen. So there are the ability to add, for example, you say you have like the arrows here. You can set up like different pages of, to be able to access things. So for example, this is essentially going back a screen. You could have another one where it's, 2 screens for certain views. The other thing I also do here is, I've set up things like, okay, we did settings, obviously, but I also know that, for example, I want to start in the broadcast. I moved those away from all my other ones so I don't accidentally hit those. And then the other thing I also added, because some of the menus, you can hit the button once to turn it on, but they don't let you like hit it again to turn it off. And so I also added a hotkey for escape. So for example, I think if I go to, I think it's settings. I think if I pull up settings, and then I try to hit it again, it doesn't disappear. So what I have to do is hit an escape key. So I hit escape, and it lets me hide that window. So just kind of keep in mind with how that kind of works.
Okay, very good.
Let's see, what questions do we have here actually?
I did just put a link to our support article that does have the link to download that profile. So we do have that profile available for you. And as Not Slim One said, essentially it's like boom. It kind of just does it all. It puts all these default hotkeys into your Stream Deck. It's a very easy process for sure. So Mike wanted to know about my food. I did get a food delivery.
Oh, wow.
I got a nice little ham sandwich brought to me.
I think there's a note on that. Is there a note on the napkin too?
I got a little napkin. I got a little cute little note on my napkin that says, love you. So pretty funny. So, So, I mean, here's the thing. Christian, do you have anything that you want to share in regards to like maybe just be cautious about hotkeys? I mean, can you think of anything? Here's my thing. I don't want anyone to feel like they have to go figure this out, that they need to figure this out before they can do it. Again, as I mentioned, you can do all of this with a mouse click. And it's one of the things I always say that I love about StreamYard is with the click of a mouse, you can produce amazing live streams. So don't let this be something that holds you back.
Oh, no, it
you
shouldn't,
do
no.
not have to use the hotkeys. They are simply there for anyone that is wanting that functionality. So that was kind of my thought about it. But, I mean, what are your thoughts? Do you have anything else about that?
I think I would add a couple of things. I think the first thing is you do not need a Stream Deck, a Loop Deck, a Touch Portal. You don't need any of those to use hotkeys. So they're available within your account. It's a keyboard shortcut. It's like, hey, I want to print a screen, Control P, for example. It's the same kind of thing. You could set that up for your StreamYard account to where you have certain functionality that you can quickly access with the keyboard shortcut, but you don't need them. That's the other thing. It's also one of those things where if you're just getting started, don't let it hold you back that like, hey, I don't have to have, like, you don't have to have the physical Stream Deck, for example, to use it with StreamYard. Like, you don't need that.
Right.
So don't let that hold you back. If you're like, you know what, hey, I now have to remember all these things. No, you don't. You don't have to use all of them. Just because they're there doesn't mean you need to use them. So, pick and choose the ones that you think you would use most often and start to kind of, build muscle memory where the more frequently you use that keyboard shortcut, the more you're going to be able to remember it.
Right.
And then,
absolutely.
As Melanie mentioned, like, it's not a necessity. It's a way to level up your production. So if you find you struggle with clicking around for things, for example, if you're like, hey, I always need to go to the brand tab or the banners one, instead of having to go click on all that, you could have a keyboard shortcut, and that could be the only thing you use it for right now. So that's, I think, the advice I think I would add for that.
I love that. That's actually, I love that. I knew you would have some. I feel like one thing I always appreciate about Christian is that he can kind of put himself in the user's perspective and you do a very good job of like, hey, keep this in mind, because I think also I always see posts in our Facebook community and I'll start to answer it and I'm like, oh, Christian already got to it. Like, I don't know how you sleep or if you sleep, but I know Christian, you're always so supportive of the community and you help so many people. So I think you do know our users really, really, really well. I got to give a shout out to Not Slim One, by the way, maybe the most enthusiastic person about the hotkeys, because Not Slim One has been all over helping everyone in the comments about talking about that profile, talking about, what's going on there, answering some questions in there. So thank you, Not Slim One, for talking about these hotkeys. It's clearly has, I think maybe one of our beta testers and was able to get this going quickly and is offering lots of good stuff here. So here, this is a question that's not about the hotkeys.
Sure.
But it's a quick one we can answer, I think. So Gibby's Treasure says, is there a way to fix lag time for viewers when using the giveaway tool? Because I have noticed that the viewers are running behind after the giveaway tool is being used. So really the lag is on the social platforms. And I think it can be up to a minute, right? Like up to a minute and a half even. And what that lag is that when you are doing something, your audience doesn't see it for it could be up to a minute and a half after you do it. Yeah. So that's why sometimes we'll like say something and then we will literally see your question and it's like, oh, I actually just happened to just talk about that. So sometimes there is that lag that can happen, but there's really not a lot you can do to improve the lag because it's mostly your internet connection has a little bit to do with it, but really it's more on the side of the platforms. Is that right, Christian?
There's typically going to be some lag on some of the platforms. And, as you mentioned, it could be 30 seconds, could be a minute. It really depends on it depends on the person's internet speed, for example, what servers they're hitting, things like that as well. So there is going to potentially be some delay. You also have to remember, you watch like something on TV, there is actually a delay. Like most of the time it's not actually live. There's, there may be a few minute delay, for example, for things like that. So nothing's really typically ever real time. So for something like that, to kind of mitigate that, if you have lag for viewers when using the giveaway tool, add another 30 seconds, for example, or a minute, like just get an idea based off of like you ask a question and you see the comment comes in a minute later. I need to make sure that I build in something to kind of minimize that. Yeah,
that's a good point. Fab Strong says, is there somewhere on the StreamYard website that outlines all the latest features added? I love this idea. I think it's something that we should do. And Christian, I know that's something you've talked about and have thought about as well. So we will definitely take that back and see what we can do to, even at a minimum, just get a blog post up maybe about all these features that have been released in the summer and in the fall here at StreamYard, because there has been so much. In fact, I actually had a really close friend who she has not used StreamYard for a few months because she's not done a live stream. And she was like, Mel, give me the quick catch up, or is there somewhere I can go and read about it? And I think that would be cool that we could do that. So Luis De Leon says, has the possibility of logout been enabled? Hugs from Brazil. Well, hello. I think what we're referring to here is if you have maybe someone's logged into your account because they borrowed your account, or maybe you needed to both be logged in at the same time. There is not a place where you and your account can go do that, but you can contact support. You can email support@StreamYard.com, and basically they can log out all instances of your account at that point, which then essentially refreshes it. So,
and that would actually be a good thing to use StreamYard Teams for as well, by the way, because then you have the ability to remove the person's permissions. You know, basically if I added Melanie and I'm like, oh shoot, I put the wrong email address in, and I'm like, oh, someone's got access to my account. I could just easily go remove them myself so that Melanie doesn't have to, or sorry, Melanie, or in this case, whoever I invited, you know, they don't have access to things. So if you've ever added anyone, I'd recommend, you know, go contact support and ask them if they can go and, I was trying to read that.
Yeah, sorry. I didn't mean to throw you off by displaying it. Yeah.
But yeah, so if you do need to remove people, I'd say contact support. That's the best way. They can log people out, and then focus on using the Teams feature for adding people.
Yeah. So I did, I know Brian is asking about that link. He says he doesn't see it. If you're watching from the group or link, you know, which I think I don't know where he's watching from, but I did post it to our Facebook page and our YouTube. So in the comments. So if you're watching from our Facebook page, or if you're watching on YouTube, you will see this comment in the thread up above you, and it does have that link. But you can also go to our Facebook group, which I know Brian is a part of, I believe. So I was going to share my screen and I lost my place here. So this is the post I was referring to right here. So Julie did post this, and it has a link to the support article, which is going to show you how to integrate this with Stream Deck, and that profile link is right here. So if you click here, it's going to actually give you an ability to download that profile that we were just talking about. So that's where you can go grab that for sure. Well, Christian,
hold on.
Yes,
but
go ahead.
Once you download that file, the easiest way to install it, just double click, and it will open up your Stream Deck software, for example.
That's right. You said that. Yeah.
And it will add, for example, anything that's in there. So if we've already mapped like full screen and mute and stop cam and share screen and those graphics, all of that will get mapped on your Stream Deck. And then all you need to do is make sure whatever hotkeys you have in your StreamYard account, they line up with what is in your Stream Deck profile for that particular button that you're going to have pushed. And you could customize the images on there as well if you want to, or you can just stick with the ones we've got. Yes.
Okay, perfect. So we are running low on time because you and I both have a hard stop today at 2:00, which I will tell you, I knew this thing was going to be longer than 90 minutes, but I sure as heck,
90 minutes, yeah.
I sure as heck did not dream it would be. When you said I have a hard stop at 2, I was like, me too. Ha ha ha. Here we are. We still have 2 more things to cover really quickly. So let me jump ahead. And so again, if you did ask a question and you wanted to know what the answer was to that question, I'm so sorry if we did not get to your question. We will certainly review these comments after the fact and see what we can do to take care of everybody. So yeah, so let's keep moving. We've got a couple more things to talk about that are also very exciting, but they're not quite as intense. So bulk uploads is actually now available as well. So I know for myself personally, I was really excited about this one because when you are uploading maybe multiple assets, like in this stream, I think I uploaded about 12 different things to use during the stream. You know, you can design all those, make all those work in a batch, but then you had to individually upload each file and you had to wait for it to stop. Then you had to go to the next one, upload again. And it was kind of time consuming, especially for people that are using, you know, overlays and videos and multiples in a live show. So now all you have to do is you can actually bulk upload multiple files. So Christian, did you want to demo this one, or do you want to just talk? I mean, it's really just kind of like,
let's just talk through
yeah.
it. Did we have, I can't remember if we had a video or not.
No, we don't. But on a PC, all you do is you actually go to upload an overlay, for example. And then if you have 3 overlays, you're going to hold down the control button and you're going to select each one, which is actually how you do multiple select in most applications on a PC. And then when you upload, it's actually going to upload all of them at the same time. Yep. And on a Mac, what is the command on a Mac?
It's a command. So basically, another thing, Melanie, by the way, so you open up your computer, you select like the first one. And if you're like, hey, I want to select the first, the third, and the fifth, you hold the control key and you just click on the first, the third, the fifth item. The other thing also you can do is if you want to select all items in a row, you click on the first one, you hold the shift key and click on the end one, and it will select everything in between as well for you as well. So that way, all those items will then be able to be uploaded all at once. I know we probably get a couple of questions on this, by the way. People ask about like, hey, can I use a zip file with everything? The answer is you need to unzip the folder and make sure they're all accessible from your computer. The other thing is, let's say you selected like item number 1 in the list and, like 10 items, the items will show up based on which ones get to the server first. So if like item 1 is a really large file, it might be the last thing that gets to the server, whereas the other things might get there first.
Got it.
So
good point. And you can rename those files after you upload them. So sometimes I do that. The file on my computer, nomenclature on my computer is for one reason, but then inside my studio, I might want it to be a little bit different so that it's easy to see and check that out. So let me see here. This is an interesting question. Will it be possible to upload/share photos similar to the way we share a video? The current workaround is to convert an image into an MP4 in Canva and share it as a video. Well, okay, a couple things. So Dean the Dream, you could upload those photos as overlays. Okay, so you could just upload them as overlays instead of converting them to a video. So what we've done here is, for example, this is a photo that we use as our thumbnail. It's an overlay. So all that does is it just displays over us. And so I can easily I can upload any photos and display them. Now I will tell you that if you have a photo that isn't the full size of the full screen, watch here, like this one, it will overlay, but then there will be transparency over on the side where you're not there. So make sure your orientation is correct for sure. So definitely something to consider there. That's another option for you. Now, what we've done today is I took images and I took images that were already designed and then I put them into Canva and I used the animation feature and I did export them as like little 6-second videos. And so that's actually how you're seeing these and then they're floating. These are actually videos, clips as well, but because they don't have sound, they don't mute our microphones. And so that's what we've done there. So that's a way to kind of create an animated like temporary overlay. The thing about a video overlay is that once that video ends, it will remove itself automatically. So kind of something we recently started doing. I did that last week on the Ask StreamYard show, and Christian basically texted me and said, we need to do that every week. I loved that. So, it is nice because it is nice to give yourself a little break where you can, do some things with your eyes, maybe stretch your cheeks, whatnot, especially when you stream for 2 hours and 49 minutes and 39 seconds like we are right now. But yeah, so that would be a workaround to that particular question there.
The other thing I also do is I take images and I will put them into a PowerPoint. And then I will share one file, and that PowerPoint is basically something that I have off screen, or I have it in a separate window, and I can, have it on screen, and then I can switch between that if I want to, as I'm putting together the live stream.
And yeah, Not Slim did make a comment about Teams not being free. It is. I actually just confirmed that you can. It is free. So that one extra seat. So you can have one extra team member on all the plans, even a free plan. But if you do want additional team members, you will have to pay for that. And the rationale is that is just simply the way it works. All software applications for multiple users, it is going to cost you per user. So, that's just one of those things. It's part of it. So, okay. So there is a video looping feature. That's when a video looping feature would be helpful. Yes. So Black and Blue, I love the idea of a video looping feature. Here's what I do to get around that. If I want a video to loop, I will actually in Canva, and you can do this in really any video app, I'll make the video and then I will duplicate the video and just back it into, so then I make that video really long. And then I basically can turn it on and then I can turn it off. So I just make it longer than I need it. And then it'll loop until I click it again. And when I click it again, it goes away. So that's, again, we're always trying to keep StreamYard as simple as possible. There are other ways to get these things to do what you want it to do, but it does require you to sometimes duct tape some solutions together. So, well, Christian, I think we have time to talk about our last feature that is actually pretty awesome.
I gotta look up what that last feature is.
Lost track. So essentially we have increased recording limits. And so we do actually have additional recording limits now available when you are using that recording feature. Some people had asked for this because they wanted to be able to create these longer videos. And so you are gonna have increased recording limits on that. Do we have other information to share on that one?
Let's see. So it's
At
6
this point, I
hours.
sort of
Yep.
forget what my middle name is. I mean, I'm like kind of like,
It's 6 hours per stream on the basic, 10 hours per stream on the pro. Yeah, I mean,
I think that's
I
right.
think that's about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like
okay.
10 hours per stream.
Nothing like a finale to talk about all these awesome features. So and we are gonna have to close our. We're gonna have to be done with our show, right? Because we are there. So I definitely want to make sure that everybody understands that we love the comments. We love the questions that you guys have asked, and we love your excitement over these new features. We definitely covered a lot of them. There were so many that we talked about today. Just so, to see the list of these latest features, there are a ton of them. And so, oops, that was not what I meant to click. That was not what I was trying to click. There it is. Thank you very much. So yes, we talked about all the stuff. StreamYard Teams has definitely been one of the ones that I think everybody's been super excited about and waiting to come. And of course, picture-in-picture is a new layout that we have. We talked about the video embedding and sharing from your video library, which of course the video library also being a new addition to our UI. So the interface that you're using, that we talked about using that bulk upload feature to save you some time when you are uploading multiple videos or multiple overlays at the same time. Definitely saves a lot of time for me when I do that. And then we talked about those Twitter changes. So Periscope is no more. And so if you were streaming to Periscope before, you just simply need to remove that destination and then add your Twitter account to your StreamYard destinations. And then LinkedIn no longer has a scheduling limit. You can schedule a LinkedIn Live further out than 7 days like before. And that LinkedIn Live is going to be, it's going to create what's called a LinkedIn Live event, not just a LinkedIn event. They are now two different things. And so that's kind of a LinkedIn change. And then, of course, we talked about hotkeys, and Christian did an amazing demonstration for us on those hotkeys and how to integrate it with your Stream Deck, even how it all works. Hotkeys has been another huge one that everybody has been asking for a really long time. So I know I was really excited to see this feature announced right with Teams as well. And of course, increased recording limits, as we just mentioned, as the last kind of recent update that's been happening. And that one is more of one of those just, it's easy to not even know that was there. And one of the reasons why we wanted to do this show is because these updates have all been happening over the course of the last couple of months. Some of them are a couple months old. Some of them are literally as new as this week. And there are more updates coming, which is crazy. So again, there are more updates coming. So you thought these were awesome? There are more features coming. The team is going crazy right now. I don't know if they're not sleeping. I don't know what's going on over there, but we have even more exciting updates coming. But we wanted to do the show so that everybody got a quick rundown of a lot of these latest features, but also we loved the questions you asked. We certainly will be taking them back to our team and taking them back. Christian and I have a lot of work to do to look at some of these questions and turn them into their own episodes. I mean, really. So
We do.
I love
yes.
it. And we had a ton of people here live with us today, so certainly appreciated all of that as well. I love it when everybody's live and just in the comments. And thanks for being patient with us as well, as we literally had to cover a ton of information, and definitely the longest stream you and I have done together, Christian. I know it's not the longest one you've done, but this is one of the benefits of having a co-host when you have a big stream like this, is that, Christian went off camera a couple times. I went off camera a couple times. My boyfriend delivered a sandwich to me that I still haven't eaten yet and probably won't have time to eat. But, you can actually do that. And with StreamYard Teams, you can have other co-hosts produce those shows with you. So I know I'm super excited about that too. But Christian, do you have anything else to add before we sign off for the day?
Just be sure you subscribe to us on our YouTube channel so that you don't miss any new releases. Like, I know we're going to do the town hall, but we may have some new things coming as well very soon. But this has been a lot of fun. And again, keep asking questions and let us know, what is your favorite new feature that we've added? We'd love to hear, about that in the comments. So
for sure. And, I love that you mentioned the town hall, because it's on Sunday nights at 9:00 Eastern time. Did I get that right that time? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So tune into the town halls. If you want to be on the bleeding edge of what's coming and when things are released, those town halls are one of the greatest places for you to be listening, because Dan and Gage, they get feedback on those town halls from you about those features. They also tease some of the features that they're working on. And then, of course, sometimes they announce the release of those features for, all of our users. And so the town halls on Sunday nights are definitely a great place for you to stay in touch. And of course, if you're not already, join our Facebook community. So we have a great Facebook community over there where you can ask questions. And again, be one of the first people to know about a lot of the exciting things going on. So, all right, everybody. Well, we will be back again again next week at 11 a.m. For another episode of Ask StreamYard. I have no idea what we're going to be talking about. Heck, we might be talking about one of these features. We might be talking about something else, but make sure you're subscribed, like Christian said, so that you don't miss a beat. But until next time, we'll see y'all later. Thank you. Thanks for watching.